Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Slow Your Roll. I'm Cody, and today I'm joined with not only Alex, but also our friend Shane.
Hi, everybody.
And today we're just going to be doing a little DC20 one-shot, and the one-shot is called Dust and Daggers, The Hunt for the Iron Ghost. So,
who's Dustin?
That's Dust and... Okay. So, basically, you two... you're adventurers, and you know each other. As of right now, you are wandering through the desert, and you're just parched. You need a place to kind of relax for a second, and you finally encounter a small town with a sign out front. It's just kind of like an archway, and the sign's hardly hanging on with two chains. They're both terribly rusted. And the sign at the archway says "The Dustlands," and so yeah, you arrive at this town, and finally you think to yourself, you have some time to, relax and maybe get some liquid in your system. So if you guys would, feel free to kind of introduce your character at least a little bit, and we'll start with you, Alex.
Okay, definitely. So today I decided to play a Barbarian, but like the classic Barbarian, a Giantborn. I actually wield a greatsword and then a great star on both sides of my back. So I have two gigantic weapons just sitting in the back. Might not even use them because I'm pretty good with my hands.
There we go. And Shane?
Yes, so my good friend that I'm really good friends with. What's your name?
My name is Brian.
Brian.
Okay.
Okay. My name's Warren. I'm a dwarf, so I'm just a little guy, and like to make things, mainly weapons. So got a lot of weapons, just kind of like built in, like gauntlets. I have a crossbow gauntlet on my wrist, and it just has like all the bolts around, and then there's the string, and I just pull it back to shoot.
Nice.
Got like gloves that have brass knuckles built in. And then like two swords in the sheath of my armors together that make a long sword.
Okay.
So that's that kind of just an old little guy.
Just a
that's
little
what
guy.
we're doing. Yep, just a guy.
Okay, so for the record, there will be some flavoring things that happen here. For all the people that are really freaking out about like the Artificer being a DC20, you may get some hints and flavor of an Artificer in this game, but it's nothing official, okay? So, just relax. Chill out. But anyway, so, basically we'll just kind of... we'll get right into this. So you guys do know each other, of course. Adventuring buddies, Warren and Brian. What was the last, maybe the last big encounter that you guys are just coming from before wandering through the desert?
Yeah, that was... was that time?
Yeah. Right, at the place with the guy.
Yeah, the inn, right? And there's the...
Yeah, the last time we visited the inn, we weren't allowed back.
You chased a brownie down to the inn.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually,
that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
The police hired us, so...
Wait, what was that name? What was that?
We found old Cockney Pete.
Ah, yes. Yep. He was a bad man for, that thing he did.
We don't really care what the bounty's for. It's the fact that they're paying for it.
Yeah, you guys weren't asking questions, so you chased him down into the inn. Yeah, cool. So once you got into the inn, this guy, old Cockney Pete, he was a bad dude, so he didn't care what was happening, right? So he just busted in this inn and, broke through people's rooms unannounced and everything else, and the walls were made of paper, so you just chased him through a couple walls like a Scooby-Doo scene or something, like you were all the Kool-Aid Man. Yeah, and then finally at some point he turned around and he was just holding a bomb, right? You guys remember that, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah. I was there. We were both there.
Man,
both remember it.
Yeah. What did you guys even do then?
Well, when he lit the dynamite, I had to throw it in that lady's beer.
Yes.
Hoping it would go out.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So as a bit of a flashback here, let's determine exactly how that went.
I think I did a whole bunch of yelling, right? And I tried to punch old Cockney Pete so you could take the dynamite and the lady wouldn't get mad at you because she was busy watching Pete.
Maybe have Warren make a just like an attack roll to see it. Wait, what'd you say? You tried to yell at him? What happened?
Well, like punch. I'd punch.
Okay,
him,
you hit
but
him.
I'd
Okay.
make a lot of noise. I'd make a scene, you know.
Okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, with a DC 16, let's go ahead and have you just kind of make your attack check as we're kind of recalling the details of exactly how that went.
All right.
How'd you do, bud?
It didn't go the best.
Oh, okay.
7. Rolled a 3 plus my 4. So.
Man, so you remember, so you were trying to grab the dynamite. You guys kind of rushed up to the guy at the same time. Like, you're going to punch him to distract him. You grab the dynamite. But man, you remember, Brian, you remember how Warren just kind of like Superman punched and the guy just completely dodged out of the way and he accidentally punched the girl that had the beer. Really?
Yeah. That's what started the bar fight.
So thankfully it kind of worked out. You punched the lady and she kind of just like threw her beer in the mayhem and that kind of like, put out the fuse of the dynamite. And then you guys were finally able to get a hold of old Pete and, claim your bounty. So yeah, that's why you know each other anyway. That was legendary, really.
Yeah, that's a good time. Good memories from last week.
Old Pete was hacking and whacking and smacking.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So anyway, you guys ended up, you arrive at the Dustlands, and basically it's just a small town in like this sun-scorched desert otherwise, where, surprisingly and ironically, there's a bit of magic in the air. There's some interesting like technological advancements happening. So every now and then you see a few people that have like prosthetic limbs or whatever else, and they look like just impressively arcane, like functional, just like machinery. And it's, not everyone, but a few people, and it's just like, it's interesting. But
do they look like they're better or worse than a normal limb?
It really depends on which one you're looking at. Some seem like they work maybe just as well. Others are like, that guy's still limping. Maybe just be better off like just hopping on one leg, like, I don't know. So there's that. But as you guys arrive, you are approached relatively quickly. And in fact, you see a gentleman kind of run out of a small building there, but he kind of like locks eyes with you as he's running out of the building, and you see he kind of like stops running and he's like moves it to like a more casually accepted like power walk towards you. And you see a big bronze star on this guy's overcoat that he's wearing, and he looks kind of grizzled, but he looks desperate too at the same time. So he approaches you kind of quickly and he's like, "Oh boy, I tell you, the Iron Ghost is back."
Iron Ghost?
Yeah, and he's just like looking at you, like waiting for you to respond to him. He's like, "Yeah, the Iron Ghost."
What's the story, friend?
Oh, well, he's back and he's worse than ever. Basically, he's a bandit, and we got a history here with him at the Dustlands. Excuse me. I know my town. But anyway, we got a history with him. He rides in every now and then and just takes lives and whatever else he pleases, and it's not pretty.
Well, he has a horse, or where does he ride?
That was the question. Yeah, he has a horse? Question mark? Yeah, dude. Well, yeah, yes. He has a horse.
Oh.
What kind of horse?
Well, we could go, yeah. What kind of horse?
Brown.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's a good horse. It's an average horse.
Does the horse have a name?
I don't believe it does. I suppose I've never heard him say it. Maybe it doesn't have a name.
So where is this? Where is this? Hey Brian, how's my accent? Do I sound like I'm Southern?
Don't worry, you're washing it up good.
Okay, thank you. Where is this Iron Ghost staying?
He kind of looks at you. He's like, I heard. Right now, I think he just left. We got news, intel, rumors, if you will, that he's hanging out in an old silver mine outside of town.
Silver mine outside of town.
Yeah, we got.
Okay.
What? Were you just copying me? Well,
No.
listen.
Yes. No.
From what I hear, and there's also he's got money. All right, like I said, he's a bandit. He takes everything he wants from us every time he rides through, making out with fortunes on his way each time. And the truth is, I'm worried that some of the townsfolk might be being paid off by the man.
It's always somebody on the inside.
Yeah, so just
Do you think
be
he'd be
careful.
willing to pay us off?
I don't know. I could pay you more regardless if that, maybe, look, there's not many folk here in town that are actually willing to take this, everyone's scared of him, okay? So I could pay you more if so.
How much more?
Listen, I'm willing to
How
give
much
you,
more?
son, I'm willing to give you 1,000 gold if you bring back old Iron Ghost's head.
I mean, I'll do it.
All right.
That's a lot of gold.
That's what I like to hear. So anyway, why don't you kind of like, at this point he's buddy with you. He wraps his arm around, attempts to wrap his arm around Brian, but it's like kind of at his waist. And he's like, here, listen, come on. And then he stops and puts his arm around Warren instead. And he's like, all right, listen, let's bring you into the tavern over here. This is the saloon. That's what we call it.
Well, wait, do you have where's he been? Do you have footprints?
Oh, well,
Or
that's exactly why. Listen, like I said, there might be people here in town that are listening. So I'm going to bring you into this here saloon to do this kind of stealthily. Is that okay? All right. And then, kind of keeps walking over.
I always think
I
better.
just want to smell his footsteps.
What?
Yes.
You mean, was that you or Warren? Are you asking him?
Warren. Warren wants to smell his footsteps. So I'll go back to the southern accent.
The Iron Ghost?
I want to smell his footsteps in his horse tracks and look at him.
We'll get on a scent.
Of course. I should have known. You are adventurers. I should have known you had your own methods of tracking. It seems like maybe you are good at tracking people then?
Oh, absolutely.
I've been known to been told that.
Okay.
He's
good.
the best tracker this side of
A really big river.
Dust. Yeah. Okay. Well, good. And at this point, he's kind of like, he kind of punches in the swinging doors of the saloon. And he's like, all right, well, come on over here to this table. We'll discuss. He brings you over, like, sits down at a table and stands back up. And he's like, this one's not close enough to the corner. And walks over to the corner table and sits down. He's like, right here, this is good. All right. So I'll tell you everything you need to know. Okay. There's probably some scat from his horse. He kind of ran out to the corner of town the last time he was here. So there may still be some droppings, if you will.
Probably smells.
I'm sure it does. And, so that'd be good maybe for you.
I think it would.
You guys just need to be careful, all right? You need to understand the Iron Ghost got his name because he's half human, half machine.
Iron.
And yes, basically, yes. And he's rumored to be immortal.
Is he also dead?
I don't...
Why is he a ghost?
How could he be dead? Listen, they just call him a ghost because no one can ever track him.
Ah, slippery eel here.
Yeah. Or like a ghost, kind of.
Slippery ghost.
All right, yeah. So anyway, here, and he kind of like... he's kind of like making eyes at the barkeep, and he's, kind of waves him over. And, he brings over a couple, maybe just like cups of water, really. Just a couple glasses of water and sets them down on the table. And he's like, you boys look real rough here. Take these first off.
That's mighty kind.
Pick it up and just chug it.
There you go. Okay, perfect.
Set the cup down aggressively and just super loud. Just be like...
I'm assuming the glass was like normal size, just so I just do.
Yeah, it's a shot.
But like not even trying to like go about it.
It's a water shot.
So you're how big are you? As of a being?
So I'm still medium sized, but like probably on the tallest end. But I do also have an ability that makes me count as one size larger. So I can make myself seem that imposing.
There you go.
Okay, gotcha. I'm small.
Actually, okay, perfect.
So like, you ever see like Shaq hold a can of pop and then just like a normal person, or like even a small person. That's kind of what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I'm chugging, and they're just take a sip and it's gone.
Yes. What a duo.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. It's like
You hit him high, I'll hit him low.
yeah. What are the two magicians that I can't think of?
Penn and Teller.
Yes, Penn and Teller. Okay, reminds
Yeah,
me of that too.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. So, yeah. So basically, the guy's just like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I can answer any other questions for you, but I think that's the bulk of it right there.
Okay. So where's this silver mine at? You got a map, a direction, time to get there?
Oh, absolutely. You know, if you can avoid the sandstorms and harsh weathers, it's only a maybe 20-minute ride, and we'll happily get you a couple of horses.
Good brown ones.
I suppose we have brown if you prefer. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. That'll be just fine. We can do that.
Is a sandstorm going on right now?
Oh, I don't know. He stands up, walks outside. It takes like an awkward amount of time, comes back, sits down, and he's like, nope.
I guess we should be off then, huh?
I suppose
Is there food?
Yeah, yes, we can get you some. And he, looks over at the barkeep again and kind of like aggressively waves him over. And he's like, we'll take your, we'll take the eggs Benedict. The ones I like. And the barkeep's like, yep, you want them just the same way you get them? And he's like, yeah, I want them just the same way. These boys are going to love those. And he's like, all right. And, not long. And actually surprisingly fast, he brings back some eggs Benedict on, it's just like, it's kind of like a waffle. And then just big old pieces of kind of weirdly tinted meat. And then just a big old poached egg and some hollandaise. And he's like, just the way, well, actually, hold on. He says, specifically, just the way old Jeb Ironhand likes them, and puts the plates down in front of you.
That you, sir? Jeb?
Jeb, Sheriff Jeb McAllister, yes.
And since he says Iron Hand, is he actually missing a hand?
Yeah, it's something you didn't really notice earlier, but you notice he does have one just, mechanical hand. He's like, yeah, that one, I actually did this job myself. Fixed it up. I'm a bit of a tinkerer myself, so.
I'm gonna poke it and just be like, you're the Iron Ghost.
He looks at you and he's just like, you two are the only two that would be willing to accept this. And he's like almost talking to himself, and he's just like, this is all right. It's hopeless.
I'm going to start in on my eggs and mystery meat.
Yeah.
And say, don't you worry, sir. We can take care of this issue. And then I'll point in the wrong direction.
And he's like, I sure hope so. We'll be praying.
I do have one thing to say about these eggs, though. They've been delicious.
But hey, he kind of laughs. He's like, I think I've made that same joke before. So they're pretty good, right? And they do taste noticeably better than they smell. So, you're good. You're good there.
That's good.
He's like, all right, well, listen, I've given up all of the time I'm willing to give to you today. So hopefully that you are able to do this. Don't forget there's scat out that way. You're going to go this way. All right, have a good one. He stands up, starts walking away.
Did he leave any food behind?
Yes, he left his whole plate of eggs Benedict behind.
I'd like to eat all of them. I'll look up halfway through and just be like, hey Brian, do you want any of this?
Take the fork.
Take the fork? Like loot the fork kind of thing?
Yep.
Okay, well, I meant like, did you want to eat any of it? Not
no.
Take it with us.
No, that's okay. I'm good.
You have a plate too?
Yep. It was good. But take the fork.
I'll just, okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to, if that's all you have inside, I'm going to walk out and go over to the horse poop.
Do you have a way to find this guy?
I think I do. If I look at this long enough, then I think I should be able to just smell him the closer we get.
Good. Is that true, or should I have you make any checks for that? Is that something you can fail?
So this will be casting Hunter's Mark, if that's
okay.
Out of combat. I'm not really sure how it works.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
It says I can mark a creature by studying its track for at least 1 minute.
Okay, yeah. I'll count that as strength.
Well, there's two ways to do it. You can spend an action point and a stamina point to focus on and mark a creature within 15 spaces as my quarry. Alternately, I can mark a creature by studying its tracks for a minute.
Perfect. And for those, possibly keeping up, trying to learn the game a little bit by watching too, the stamina points and action points thing is something that specifically comes into play in the complexities of combat. So that's not really something you'd use out of combat, which is why there's like the, description to use it in more of like the roleplay context too. So that's good. That's cool. All right. So yeah, you are definitely able to do that. And in a weird way, you can almost just like, you just like look at this poo for a while, and just like an insight type of thing, where you just like almost see this wafting scent. Yes.
Yeah, I can hear it as much as I can smell it.
Yeah, practically taste it. It's all your senses, really. And you cannot, you kind of just like see this almost like wafting green like trail in what you are confident is the right direction. This has got to be the Iron Ghost's horse Dookie trail. I
love it. Let's do it.
You get anything out of that?
Yeah. I'll like crouch down, just dramatically look up, deep inhale, and just be like, I think he's that way. I'm just gonna point in the direction and just be like, but I smell some other ones that way, and then just look at the closest two horses that we can take. Jet.
Yeah.
Never gave us horses. So
that's true.
That's gonna go take two of them.
Perfect.
Nice. The ones with saddles tied up to the saloon, we should take those.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. We'll probably be either more in trouble or less in trouble that way. Let's do it.
Technically, we gotta come back.
Maybe.
And very conveniently, they're brown horses, so...
Yes.
Basically, you quickly, you untie the horses and hop on, and right about the time you're riding out, someone comes out of that saloon, and they're like, it's a gentleman, seems to have a gnarly sway to him. He comes swaying out of the saloon and looks around, looks at the empty spot, looks back over at you, sees you riding away on his horse, and he's like, hey, you get back here. And you see him just kind of like stumble off of the ledge that is the platform to the saloon and just like face plant out of the sand.
Yeah, that guy's really got to learn how to handle his liquor.
All right, and you guys ride off.
Do we ride by any other brown horses that look like they more clearly aren't being used?
Hundreds.
Stable or something?
Hundreds.
It's like 8 people in the town.
Horses.
There's like 300 horses.
You pass... Okay, so as you're leaving town, so like not quite out of town yet, but real close, there is one gentleman that you see riding a horse, and he's got his whole arm, you notice, is like mechanical. Wow, hi Kyle, I didn't know you were down here. Time out. So as you're riding out of town, sorry, I got interrupted by the cat. Okay,
thank you for muting it.
So as you're riding out of town, you do see a horse ridden by a person, and this person is wearing like a big, really wide-brimmed hat. He's kind of like looking down, and you notice that this person's entire arm is like an old rusted metal, and you notice for a brief second, this person's like duster-like cloak that they're wearing kind of like wavers off to their side and reveals a very interesting looking weapon on their hip. Okay, it looks, your characters wouldn't necessarily recognize it, but it looks a lot like just like a revolver, but the cylinder is just like this glowing gem, basically. But you can tell it's like, it's where you'd stow a weapon kind of thing, and it looks like a weapon of some kind.
Okay.
And so like it kind of like briefly displays itself as he's riding along, and
does he pay us any attention?
It doesn't seem like it. But I'll actually have you make an insight check. Maybe we'll see.
Okay.
Both of us.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
So mine's a flat roll. Hopefully yours is better.
Mine is a -2.
Yeah. Let's give it a go.
Really paying attention. I'm focused. Hey, I got a natural 20 though.
Oh,
nice. 13.
Okay, so those are both decent, but the natural 20 is obviously That's an auto success to a large degree. So
We're calling those natural 18s now.
Yeah. Okay. So at first you can't really. He seems to be kind of sticking to himself, but you notice, I don't know, Warren, you just like something just feels off. Something doesn't feel right about the guy, and you notice that seems to be minding his own business for a second, but you swear you see like a glimmer of like his face or appearance under his hat, and it looks like he like tries to look at you guys without being seen, and then you see him kind of like quickly get off his horse, and you already know. So like you're gonna have the first step to like decide what's happening here. But he quickly gets off his horse and reaches for the weapon on his hip. What are you guys doing?
Are there side streets?
Yeah, for sure. So right now you're like not quite at the edge of town, so there's definitely like some side streets or like alleyways between some of the buildings and stuff.
I have a quick question.
Mhm.
One of my trades that I'm currently proficient in is vehicles. Would I be able to do any funky maneuvers with my horse to dismount quickly, or possibly like do the thing where you hitch one leg off, but you're actually kicking but taking a step down?
Oh yeah, heck yeah. I would definitely say you're able to do that, and I'm glad you pointed that out. That just makes sense. So I would definitely say you're able to do that, especially because you guys have the leg up of like you kind of seen it coming anyway. You know what I mean? So you nailed it there too. And yeah, I'd say that you're able to dismount your horse like even faster than this guy did, kind of thing. Like he's like still kind of stepping off his horse and you're on the ground or whatever you had planned, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But you are poised to do really whatever you'd like to freely at this point.
Okay. If he was right next to me, it would have been like a kick to him, but I'm just going to be like sumo stance then, like ready to be like, going on, partner? But obviously I don't have a gun to hang out.
Yeah. No, I can see that though. If you want to, okay, so I would say that you'd be able to quickly maneuver your horse like over to him and kind of like step off to like almost deliver like a roundhouse kick to this guy basically as he's almost on the ground.
So in my head, we were going like this, right? And then he was going like this, and then our passing was the thing that like started the interaction. So I was like, whoa, wow.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking.
Okay, sweet. So I will definitely allow that. So with your swift maneuver, go ahead and make an attack check with advantage. Cool. And Warren, what would you be doing, if anything, at this point?
So he's coming this way, we're going around him?
Yeah, we'll say so. Yeah.
Okay.
Almost like sandwiching him.
So they're like, yeah. So like, let's say they're on the left side of his horse, and I'm on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably, is his horse moving then? Because he's dismounting?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try to jump off my horse and like crouch in front of his and like get ready to attack.
Okay.
Hopefully in a way where the horse doesn't kick me.
Okay, I gotcha.
Hopefully in front it'd be okay. Behind maybe not, but...
Okay, I gotcha.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Just like hide out and wait for him, seeing that Brian is attacking. Wait till Brian attacks, and then I'm just going to punch him.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so kind of what I'm kind of seeing here is that you're like, you're preparing an attack, almost using what's happening right now as like the distraction. Like as soon as there's an opening, you're there to do something kind of thing, right? Like, so I'm actually going to have you do a stealth check, but with advantage as, this other check is happening to kind of help you out in your distraction.
Okay, so with advantage.
And mine was 15 for my attack roll.
Okay, nice. All right.
18 for the stealth.
Okay, nice. All right, so you do kind of manage to actually like remain hidden, more or less. So basically, whatever you do next is going to have advantage because this guy's super distracted by what's happening. So that's like perfect. That worked out just fine. So you notice quickly this guy like reaches over for his weapon and he grabs it in hand, but like hardly in time before he's just delivered this absolute devastating just like roundhouse kick to the head. And you see him like he flies back a couple feet and just like lands on the ground. And you actually notice, I'm gonna say even he kind of like throws his weapon off to the side on accident. So he's kind of like disarmed for a second too. Nice. And then he's gonna stand back up and kind of like look around. And Warren, you managed to kind of like you're actually like tucked behind the horses. Like you literally are kind of just like out of sight right now. And he's kind of focused on Brian now at this point. And basically he's just gonna yell out just like, hey, knock it off. You better watch yourself, all right? You better watch yourself.
Okay. Are we like directly in combat with this guy? Or is he trying to like call a stop? Is that what he's trying to do?
It's I would say the situation's tense enough. It really could go either way. Yeah, it really could go either way.
I'm gonna try. Is his weapon kind of out of sight of him? If I'm like hidden, could I try to grab it?
Ooh, we could definitely try that. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
All right, let's do that instead of just punching him.
Okay, yeah, that sounds cool. I'll have you make a trickery check with advantage, which again, those learning DC20, trickery is something that kind of took the place of sleight of hand in D&D.
18.
18, yeah. Shoot. I would say that you are able, you're kind of small framed, and he's like very focused on Brian right now. He was shocked at the, like speed and ferocity you had to just kind of like hop off your horse, roundhouse kick him, and he's just like on the ground. He's like, well, what? So I'd say you're small framed enough that you kind of literally just like crawl over and grab his gun, and you have it before he does. And I'm gonna say he doesn't even notice.
Sweet. I'm gonna try to just quietly walk back away then.
Okay.
At least out of like arm's length. So if he does notice me, he can't like hit me.
Right.
And if he doesn't, then great.
Okay. So right about the time you kind of like get a relatively comfortable, you're pacing it out in your mind. And you're like, okay. Right about here, I'm comfortable. Right about then, you feel a violent jolt from this weapon. This weapon is, you notice that like basically this weapon is hit with a crossbow bolt from out of nowhere. So I'm gonna have you actually make a might check to see if you can hold on to it.
Okay.
Dang.
What direction did it come from? Like, is it sticking in the weapon?
No, I'd say it kind of just like clangs off of it.
Feel it?
And it's off in the distance. You kind of like look around. I don't know. We'll see if you hold on to it first, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay. 21.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so it's like a violent clang in your hand, but you do manage to hold on. Now make an awareness check to see if you can tell where it came from.
17.
Ooh, okay. So you kind of look up and like crazy far away. It is very insanely impressive. You hardly see the silhouette of a person kind of like tucked behind like the trellis peak of the top of a roof. And you are like shocked. You're like, no way. There's no way it could have been that person. That is the craziest shot I've ever seen, if that's the case. And then you hear this gentleman that you've already encountered. Basically, you kind of just like hear him.
If possible, as soon as I notice the person in the trellis, I want to just try to take full or half cover behind a horse.
Okay.
If possible.
That could definitely be done.
But, okay.
Oh, okay. So you hear the person that you've already encountered, and he's like, yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm not alone here, all right? So you better just be careful. Got old Scarface Sam up there on the roof.
Can I do something to like just really make him mad while he's talking? Just like looking him dead in the eyes?
Well, sure, yeah.
Wet Willie.
If I'm still kind of close to his horse, I'd like to smack it on its butt as hard as I can to make it run. I want it gone.
All right. Let's make, I'd say either maybe intimidation or animal check to make that happen.
Okay. I'm going with intimidation. Animal is a straight roll. Intimidation is going to be 3. Dang. I rolled a 2 for a 5.
Okay, so I mean the only way I can see this playing out is basically like halfway through he's like, I got old Scarface Sam there on the roof, and right about then you just like reach up and smack his horse on the butt super hard, and it's just like pah, and he's just like looking at you, and the horse just kind of like turns his head and just like looks back at you and is like, just does horse things, just like stays there.
Well, at least it didn't kick me.
Yeah,
that'd be if you roll a 1.
Yeah,
it was only 1 away.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And yeah, basically at this point Sam's just like, he kind of laughs and he's like, or not Sam, I'm sorry, this guy that you're not revealed yet necessarily. So he's just kind of looking at you, and looks over for his gun, and he's like, "What? How?" And he's like, "Sue, now! We need to abort!" And there's this like Southern Belle looking lady that's just like walking along, like some of the buildings, not even on the street or anything, and she's just like fanning herself, and you see her like stop and look over really fast. And like you see her kind of like put her fan down for a second, and you see 3 throwing knives kind of like arced across the back of her fan.
Ooh.
And she quickly just like grabs those knives and just starts hucking them at, I guess specifically Brian technically. So Brian, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to see all 3 of those throwing knives coming at me, and I'm going to want to rage.
Oh, that makes sense to me. Okay. Man, I feel like that's combat stuff now then, just about, huh? So here we go. I think we're there. So quickly there seems to be just a chaotic brawl erupting here in the middle of town. Or I guess towards the edge of town, really. So you are going to rage for sure. That makes sense. So you know what? Rage is the barbarian. That's like the thing the barbarian does, So I'm going to have your initiative check be a roll with your prime modifier, because it embodies the class, just like the prime modifier does in the same way. And what is Warren doing now, if anything?
I would like to try to shoot Sam.
Okay, see if you can get a beat on Sam. Okay, we'll have your...
Is his name Sam?
Sam, the guy on
Sam's the guy that shot at me.
Okay. Yeah.
Crossbow.
I will say...
Old Scarface Sam.
Right now, as that thought enters Warren's mind, it's going to be crazy hard. Not impossible. Yeah. So for now, we'll actually have your initiative check be an attack roll, but with disadvantage.
Okay.
And we'll see how you do there.
All right. I'll have Brian start us off then.
I got 15.
Okay.
I'm rolling now?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's just for initiative, technically.
Right,
so, yeah, you're good.
Will this also count as, like, whether I hit or not?
It depends. If you succeed... Okay, so generally speaking, no. Because if things change in initiative and you want to do something else, then you have, like, you have won with the initiative. So, like, you can decide to do something else. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So technically not. It's kind of just like the thing to initiate whatever you're doing next in combat kind of thing.
Okay. For like the hit, I want to use the crossbow maneuver.
Ah, okay.
So I don't know how that would work for initiative, but it grants advantage +1 damage.
I gotcha. So in this case, we'll just let this check be for initiative only. And then when it is, because depending on the roll, you might not go first, and then you can kind of change what you do if you want to. So basically, you'll just re-roll for the attack if you do stick with that attack.
Okay, I got 16.
Okay, nice. Not bad at all. Okay, so the encounter DC was 15. So you guys did both clear it, technically. So the way this is going to work, this one's going to be a bit theater of the mind. So, like, don't worry too much about the specifics.
Wait. Sorry, I didn't do disadvantage.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, go ahead.
All right, sorry.
You're fine.
This didn't go. It was just 9.
9, okay. Well, thankfully, your team still beat the encounter DC. So basically, Brian is going to act very first. So Brian decides what happens, the next immediate thing. And then we will probably have 2 enemies act, and then Warren. So, and then the last enemy of the 3 of them. So to make things a little bit easier, when Sue threw the throwing knives from her fan, she may have even yelled out like, "All right, you got it, Rusty," and then threw it. Okay, so you've got 3 names here. You've got Sam, Rusty, and Sue. So basically, Brian is going to go first, and then 2 enemies, then Warren, then the last enemy, and that will kind of repeat as long as necessary.
Okay.
So, but yeah, this one is going to be a bit theater of the mind, so, like, don't worry too much about specifics. The only thing right now is, like, I'll say that Rusty is, like, within zone 1, so, like, either of you can do melee anything right away. Sue is in zone 2, so you'd have to, like, spend maybe an action to get close enough to do melee stuff, but you can hit her with ranged already. Sam we're gonna put in zone 3, where you have to move at least once, and then you can still only do melee stuff. But like, he's straight up out of reach right now. But you'll notice that he will be able to technically attack you almost anywhere that you are, as long as if you're in the open or something like that. You know, if it's just cover between you, that's one thing. But basically, he's like, he's the most sharpshooter you've ever seen in your life. So he's kind of a cheater.
Can I ask how it'll work with the mobility of my character, since the base movement is only 4 for people, but mine is 6, and if I make an attack, it's 8?
Yeah, that's huge. I will let you move. Basically, let's just do it. Let's just do like 2 zones of movement each time that you move. So like you could close a lot of, gaps quickly. I need liquid.
Sounds good to me. And even if it's like a zone and a half, I'm totally fine with that. I was just wondering if you care.
Yeah, we will see. I'll try to hook you up a little bit if it just makes sense. We'll see how it goes.
Definitely.
And then one other thing, since my goal is to like arm the crossbow and shoot it, a part of that, I want to just like take Rusty's weapon and like stick it in my pocket or something, just like quickly.
Okay.
Do with that what you will, how you want the timing of that to happen and stuff.
Okay. So in DC20, there's actually some really cool stuff where you can straight up like hide his item from him. And it's actually an action that's like fleshed out and stuff. So
cool.
I also have a question for that too. Does his weapon just happen to have the concealed weapon property? Is it so easy to conceal?
Yeah, I would say so. So that's going to be pretty easy. At this point, I might, I like the idea that Warren's still hidden from Rusty, at least, if not everyone. Well, not everyone. I guess Sam knows where he's at. We'll say that Warren is hidden from Rusty, but you've seen, like, Sue kind of peeked at you once, so she's kind of got an idea of where you are. But basically, I don't know, since you are hidden from Rusty, I'll still have you make the action points to conceal his weapon, but there actually won't be any checks. It's just like, it's an action point, and he straight up has no idea where his gun is, kind of thing. Unless he also spent resources to try to find it, kind of thing. So yeah, we'll say that if and when your turn comes around, you can kind of conceal it with one action point and no checks necessary. Yeah, you never know what'll happen.
I could die first.
This would be the wildest one shot ever. Okay, or the shortest one at least.
The wild one shot.
Exactly. Good. Okay. So anyway, let's get this thing started. Brian, you're kicking us off. What the heck do you do?
All right, so straight into rage, using 1 AP and 1 SP to enter rage for 1 minute.
Perfect.
I deal 1 extra damage, have advantage on might checks. My physical defense is increased by 5, and I gain resistance half to elemental and physical damage. So one of the reasons why I raged was because I thought that girl was going to throw knives at me, so hopefully I'll shirk off that damage, but I'm still in hand-to-hand combat with Rusty.
Yes.
So the first thing I'm going to do after using the action point and stamina point is I can, once per combat, take the shove or grapple action as a minor action. Can I real quick just grapple them in, make a check for that as a minor action?
Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes for sure. Part of the build, of course. So yeah, so go ahead and make your, athletics for grapple? And then they have just a martial check to choose either athletics or acrobatics to try to get out of it.
Yep. And hopefully he got better than a 24.
Nope, he rolled a 15.
Perfect.
So with the minor action, you're able to grapple him up, kind of thing.
Yes, perfect. So I've got him just underneath one hand, just big gorilla here. And then after that, I actually have one more action relative to grappling. So I'm going to use the restrained maneuver.
Okay.
And the target is restrained until the grapple ends, or actually, never mind. I'm not going to restrain him. I just want to throw him at the girl that threw knives at me.
Okay. All right.
And all I got to do to use the throw maneuver is 1 AP. The target is thrown up to a number of spaces equal to 1/2 your might, ending the grapple condition. Plus, up to 1 additional space for every 5 they fail to contest by.
Okay.
Okay.
So is it another? It's against the martial check again, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm not sure what you rolled, but they rolled a 16.
I got 18.
Oh, nice. Okay, so they failed it, but like the normal failure, right? So
Yes.
So you still throw them.
So picked him up, used picked him up with a minor action of my grapple, used 1 AP to rage and 1 AP to just throw him at that lady.
Very good.
And I throw him half the spaces of my might. So that's...
and it's rounded up if it's, a half number.
Definitely. That's 2 spaces away from me.
Okay, perfect. So I will say that this will be fun. So I'll say that you grapple this guy up, use an action point to kind of just like launch him, and he moves 1 space fully, and then collides with Sue. And who do you want to take the extra damage from that then? Sue or him?
Yeah, I kind of want him to take the extra damage.
Okay, sounds good. So so you kind of just launch him, and like he collides directly with Sue, and Sue manages to actually... I'll say like the knives that she was throwing at you, she kind of like shirked them because she realized you were grabbing him right then, kind of thing. So she like kind of threw him off to the side a little bit, but like basically in doing so just like braces herself against him and just like elbows him just straight in the spine. And so he just like runs into her and he's just like, hits the ground. And he's like, "Oh, Sue, nice. Come on." She's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to," so.
And I also want to use my Berserk charge for another attack. I'm going to use 2 AP to make it a normal, not a disadvantage. But the Berserk charge, when you make a melee martial attack on your turn, you can move up to 2 spaces immediately before making the attack. So I want to throw this guy at her, just cut the gap immediately, and just give this guy the hardest boot of his life, like while he's already on the ground.
I love it. That sounds good. Go ahead and roll for that.
Oh, no. So that was a 3.
Yeah, plus
4, but
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Didn't quite do it. So he hardly manages to roll out of the way just in time to avoid just a real hard, boot in the butt.
Good. Now I got them together.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I would say that you are within zone 1 between both of those 2 now.
And that should be good for me.
All right. So at this point...
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Was that 4 AP?
Yep. I used 1 to rage. I used 1 to throw the guy. I had a minor action as an ability, so that doesn't cost an AP. So I could do the throw and grapple for the 1 AP. And then I used 2 AP to empower my second attack, so that way I didn't have disadvantage on it.
Okay, I follow.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll say it makes a little more sense for Sue to be the one to act next, since she wasn't the one dodging blows and taking damage and everything else. So basically...
What, Rusty can't get up immediately?
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be able to. He takes a second there. He's kind of like collecting himself. And in the meantime, Sue is going to kind of like step on him a little bit to get a little bit of a leg up. And then basically stand up, kind of step on Rusty, and then lunges at you with a dagger in her hand. Lunging at Brian, that is. And that is only a 7 to hit you.
Ooh, unfortunately, you need a literal 20 to hit me right now while I'm raging.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
All right.
Wow, that is crazy. Okay, that's sick. I'll have to see. You'll have to show me that character build later. Okay, so yeah, she lunges at you and she's like, "Well, that's hopeless." And then she's going to spend 1 more AP to disengage, which basically, and then her last AP to try to move away from you. So you still could try to opportunity attack if you'd like.
Could I do that as she's running away? I don't even necessarily need it to be an opportunity attack. It might be even cooler if she got a space or 2 away, and I use my bolus to just get her in the legs. I'd even use my AP for the next turn.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so the way that the whole opportunity attack thing, so she's basically just trying to create some space. So that's kind of up to you. This is it seems like the last of her resources, which is, maybe a bit of meta info, but this is kind of the last of her resources. So she's going to try to just create some distance from you. She doesn't want to be right next to you kind of thing.
Okay.
So technically, you could kind of just save that and let her get some distance away, and then be able to just kind of do that, most likely. And that way you don't have to do it as a reaction, or you could.
Well, if I don't use the bolus, then I'll actually just take off my greatsword and just make a big old slash right towards her. See if she's actually quick.
Okay, that sounds good. So she did spend some resources, 1 AP to disengage, so it would be at disadvantage unless you empower it. That's up to you. But if you do hit, she doesn't move.
No, that's okay. I don't want to empower it. Just see how it goes.
Okay, sounds good. So go ahead and roll with disadvantage, and we'll see if she manages to make some space or not. Ooh, doesn't look like it.
I got a 15 with disadvantage.
15 against old what's her name? Sue, but it's it's better than that. It's not just Sue. It's Silent Sue. Okay, so you manage to pull out your greatsword and swing directly towards, and you get a heavy hit on Silent Sue as she tries to retreat.
Okay, very nice.
So how much damage is that?
Wow.
Well, with a greatsword, we do 3 damage, and it also has the impact property. Let me see really quick what that is.
That bumps it to 4.
You deal +1 damage when you score a heavy hit. Yeah.
And then another one for the normal heavy hit. So we're looking at 5 damage.
Right down on her.
Nice. And I'm trying to remember, what does rage do for you again? Does rage?
Oh yeah, that's one more. That's absolutely 1 more damage. You're right.
Holy moly!
Rage +1 damage on melee attacks.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you just did 6 damage, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, what exactly does it look like as you basically nullify Silent Sue right here then?
Well, with a greatsword this big, I don't think I could have done anything other than cut her in 2.
I love it. So like this, basically this lady, you can tell she's maybe not the nicest lady. Like she seems, trained and maybe even like an assassin of some kind or something. But basically, you just like cleave this Southern Belle in half, more or less. And it's, take that for what you will. But basically, she's no longer an issue, more or less. So there's that.
All this because it just looked like Rusty might pull something off his belt.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Ask questions later.
Yeah. We didn't say what kind of people you were, This could go either way. And your life's in danger. It is what it is. So Sue's no longer an issue.
It definitely is now.
Yeah. So
wasn't before.
Right. So now Rusty is going to look back with just like horror kinda, and then look back up at you and just kind of looks back at you, and he's just like, you're a monster. But I'm still gonna kill you. And so he kind of looks around one more time for his gun, cannot find it whatsoever, reaches in his pocket for a dagger, and is basically just gonna try to stab you. Oh boy, let's see how he does. Okay, that one's a 19.
Nice. Oh, sorry.
But
what? He needs a 20.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right. So with a 19, this guy stabs towards you, and like lightning speed, you just like, completely dodge out of the way or whatever, and he just completely flops and like stabs into the ground, and he's just like, you are a monster. And he's gonna I almost feel like he would try to retreat at this point too, but no, against his better judgment, he's just gonna try to hit you again. So he's gonna spend his last 2 action points to try to hit you with without advantage or without disadvantage, and that time is a dirty 20.
Nice. He actually got it.
Golly. So basically all this, right? And finally he manages to actually stab you, and it is 1 damage.
That's funny that's the minimum, because I would cut any of it in half too.
Yeah, so it's like hardly 1 damage, really. Like you almost shrug it off completely, like it's a toothpick. And
the knife's still in me, and I'm like,
yeah, and he's just like, freaked out at this point. So that's it for their turn, and then it'd be Warren to act next.
Nice.
Okay. I'll start by hiding the gun.
Okay.
Like actually, so he can't find it, even if he tries to look for it.
Perfect.
Nice.
So like I said, we'll skip all the checks for that technically in the contest to see if he notices you hide or whatever. And it'll just be 1 action point, and it is completely hidden. As far as he knows, that gun doesn't even exist anymore.
All right.
And then to kind of give you an idea, since it is Theater of the Mind, so basically Brian and now Rusty are kind of like zone, I guess it'd still be zone 1-ish. You know, you could move, you could like attack pretty much right away with a melee attack if you wanted to. And then like Sam is like zone 3. Like if you have any range stuff, it'd be at disadvantage. You'd have to spend at least an action point to move closer, if nothing else.
Okay, so I got a heavy crossbow. I'm going to try to shoot Sam with it and use the crossbow
maneuver.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to shoot Sam with the crossbow maneuver so that nullifies the disadvantage, but takes an extra action point. And you said I have to move a little closer to get in range even with that?
Yes, that is what I said when we first started, so I'm going to stick with that.
Okay. So I'm going to try to move in a way that, like, I could get a shot, like, leaning out of cover and then just, like, lean back into cover.
Okay.
Is that, like, one of the alleys or something? Is that possible?
Yeah, I could say that would happen for sure. Okay. And then in doing so, he's kind of doing kind of the same thing, so he might be a little bit harder to hit even because he's got a little bit of cover too. But you can see him and you can make the shot.
Okay, 16.
16 hits with a normal hit.
Okay. That's going to do 3 damage then. I'm sorry. That's going to do 4 damage. So 3 from the normal hit, and then 1 from the maneuver.
Nice.
Yeah. So the maneuver gives advantage and +1 damage.
Nice. Perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, basically you kind of duck in the little alley there. And you launch this bolt, and it's like one of the farther shots you've made, and it's like a solid shot. You connect with this guy, you see him kind of like, lunge out of cover. He grabs his shoulder and, yelps out in pain for a second and tries to, like kind of crouch back down and get back in his cover there.
Okay. Thanks. Are you saying that, or is Brian saying that?
If Brian said that, it'd probably come out like.
Okay. I'm gonna stay quiet then. Well, I'll say thanks. But Warren's going to stay quiet and hopefully not draw any attention from Rusty. Well, more than he already has.
Right.
So then I'm just going to try to like peek back behind cover.
Okay.
But that's all my action points.
Okay, sounds good. And I'd say that like you're using a building for cover, and it makes sense. You moved, you'd be able to move to it and all that. So like from now, you would actually be like full cover if you're behind an entire building kind of thing. So. Okay.
Cool. Kind of what I'm thinking is I'm like across from, so I don't know how it's going, but I figure I'm like across in full view of Rusty, but full cover from Sam. That's kind of what I was going for.
Yep. That should be perfect.
Cool.
So, was that all your resources for this round? Yes. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So now Sam does kind of like pop back up. Old sharpshooter Sam. Wow. That was hard to say. And
was Sam the one on top of the houses, or did they jump down?
Yes, he was the one on top of the houses, kind of like hiding behind like, one of the, I don't know what it's called, but it's like just like the front facing peak thing. It's always in Western buildings and stuff. So he's kind of like ducked behind one of those right now kind of thing. But he does lean up just enough. He's trying to focus a shot at you, Brian, the massive target, though very far away. And he's going to pump all of his action points to attempt to hit you. So 1 to give him advantage, and 1 to do 1 extra damage. And we'll see how he does.
All right.
Advantage. 21.
Yep. Definitely got it.
Okay. So, basically, so it would be 3 and then 4. So it'd be pretty much kind of the same thing that Warren just did to him. He kind of like returns that back to you, landing a shot for 4 damage, but you're raging, I think. So it should be 1 less or something, right? Or something?
Yes, I'm just looking for that. I scrolled off of it right here. You gain resistance half to elemental and physical damage. So if that counts as physical damage, then yes.
Yeah, nice. Resistance half it should do half the damage, I believe, right? Like resist, if it were resist number, it'd be that much that you reduce, but resistance half is actually half the damage. So
yeah, I think so.
So I believe, I'm pretty sure, we'll call that how it is for now anyway. So you only take 2 of the 4 damage there, helping you out quite a bit.
Nice.
But that's his whole turn as well, and then we're back at the top.
Okay.
Brian, what are you doing? You see a now relatively intimidated Rusty, looking pretty rusty, just kind of like, hardly, I don't know, he just looks scared.
Scared?
Basically.
Yeah, that happens. So I think I've pretty much won this encounter compared to Rusty. So I'm just gonna get real close to him. Maybe do another grapple. I can't do it as a minor action just once per combat, but I'll do another grapple for 1 AP to see if I can snag him.
Okay, sounds good. Give him the martial check to see if he can resist.
And oh man, that did not work.
Yep,
I got a 7.
7, and he ended up with a 12. So this time he does manage to shrug it off.
Actually, I just realized I have advantage on might checks and saves. Does that count as a might check or save? If I use my martial check?
Yeah, for sure. If it's athletics, yeah. And for the record, this is actually important. This came up when we were, making the rules for this. But technically, a martial check, to make it simple, it's the best of either athletics or acrobatics, but it's technically just your choice. So if you have advantage from it instead, even though it's a lower number, you could still choose to do one or the other.
Okay. And it's actually the same number for might and agility for me.
Gotcha.
So I made that easy for my head to not have to do math.
Yeah, nice.
All right.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
14 plus, it's an athletics or acrobatics check, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that should be 3, 5.
Nice. Sweet. So
19. Sorry, I was just trying to do the math there.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, that's against a 12, so he definitely fails this time. It's a good thing you remembered you had advantage. That's perfect.
Right.
So he is grappled up by you yet again.
Okay.
He almost shrugs it off due to just pure fear, really, but not quite.
I want to, actually this time I am going to just restrain him and we're going to hunker down together.
Okay.
That would end up being a double attack, I'm sure, for the restrain maneuver. It's 2 AP, and can I empower it with 1 AP to make it at straight roll?
Always. And it's just another contested, this time he only got a 10.
And I would have advantage on this, right? Since it's a might check?
Yeah.
Or no? Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Unless you wanted to, yeah. Oh, yep. So you got him beat there for sure. He is definitely restrained with your natural 20.
Very nice. And that's actually a 25.
Ooh.
So,
I
don't think there's no returns for greater grapples.
Yeah, but man, that one's
he's
so
hunkered.
Good. You know what?
And while I'm doing these things, I kind of just wanted to interrogate him in a way, like as intimidating as possible, just like slowly bear hugging tighter and tighter, like, who you coming from? Where, like...
Yeah. So I will say that with your natural 20, and it's like soaring above his check anyway, since there's no normal stacking help there, I will let you actually make a check to literally intimidate him if you want to try to get like some information out of him real quick.
That'd be cool.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Go for intimidation. What are you trying to get out of him? Or what
specifically, it'd be like in the Wild West. In the wildish West kind of setting, I'm gonna assume he's like, "What's your gang? Who are your colors?
Okay, sounds good. And you rolled. How'd you do?
Oh, with that, I got an 11, and for intimidation, it's just a straight roll.
Okay, so it's 11.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. No, intimidate. I was looking at influence. Intimidation is +3, so that's 14.
14. Okay, nice. That actually did make the difference. So basically, he's just gonna be like, let's see what we say. It'd be something along the lines of like, he's pretty scared. You've got him like literally like pinned down at this point. And terribly so. Like your whole body's just on this dude, and it's like not fair. And he's like, all right. Listen. He's you're looking for old Iron Ghost, right?
How'd you know?
He's like, listen, I'm not gonna play stupid with you. Okay, I seen what you did to Sue. He's hiding in the silver mine, and you need to be careful. The place is rigged up crazy with traps and constructs. So just be careful.
Okay.
And
I probably can't get too much out of him in like the heat of battle. So I'm going to be like, all right, I got a couple more for you, but like,
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I agree. Sounds good. Okay.
And that was literally all of my action points, I believe.
Nice. All right. Well, it would technically be him next. Shoot, I'm going to say.
I think he has to take an action point just to get out of a restrain, and then he also has to try to get out of a grapple now.
Yes. Yeah. To do anything, like literally at all, he's going to just try. He's like trying to be buddy with you, but really he's going to try to just quickly get out of the grapple. We'll just stick with how grappling works with everything else anyway, and just make it a contest. Make it simple. So anyway, he is going to spend. Oof, man. I feel like this dude's terrified. He's going to use 2 of his action points to, empower his attempt to get out of being restrained and see how that goes.
Definitely.
So there's his first one with only an 8 and the second one with a 14. So you basically just have to beat a 14.
Okay, so 8 plus 5, 13 is actually what I got because it was with advantage.
Okay, gotcha. So 13. So he hardly manages using 2 action points. He does manage to escape the restrain, but he's still kind of grappled by you. He's going to use his last action point as like a desperation thing. He's going to try to attack you, but it is at disadvantage since he's grappled. So it'd be the first roll and then the second. So it's only a 10, which misses dreadfully, right?
Yes.
so yeah, basically he managed to, get back into just grappled instead of restrained and swings to hit you and completely misses. And that'd be it for Rusty, really.
Okay.
And then it would have been Sue. So now it's Warren.
Definitely.
Okay. Can I run behind the buildings and get to Sam, or would that take literally the whole turn?
I would say to get to Sam, I would have you burn probably 2 AP to get there.
Okay. All right. When I get there, I'm going to do that. When I get there, what is it? What's the setup? Is he easy to hit? Is he far away, hiding?
Okay, yeah. So basically you use your resources to move up to, and you see this ladder kind of towards the back of the building, he's on, and then you use your second action point to get up on the ladder, and you see him up there, right? So basically you see him, it's just like a flat roof. Like we played, you played Red Dead Redemption 2. So it's just like a flat roof with some minor ledges along each wall kind of thing. And then the front of the building. So now you're kind of behind him at the back of the building, but you see him all the way up there. The front of the building has this one big peak across the whole, face of the building that he was using for cover. But now really it's just open roof, and it's just you and him. And you could definitely close the gap the rest of the way if you wanted to, with the resources you've already spent.
Okay. Is he braced up against a wall, or is he just at the edge of the roof?
I'd say he's kind of at the corner. So there's a little bit of a wall, but not fully, it's really a half cover situation. Yeah. He's not completely behind it.
Okay. I
don't know what you're cooking up, but I think it's going to be awesome.
I'd like to try to just use the knockback maneuver.
Yeah.
So just run the rest of the way and just full sprint into him and just push him when I get there.
Sweet. And just push him.
See if I can push him off the edge.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Let's do it. That sounds awesome.
I'm sorry. What do I roll for that? Is that just a...
So there's a couple ways you can do that. For the knockback, it's a normal attack, and the knockback is attached to the attack. So for the extra action point. Okay. Or you could just use a shove, which is just an action point to try to just push him.
Okay. I'm going to do that then. I'm going to try to just... Well, okay, what do I use to push him?
You can spend 1 AP to attempt to push a creature within 1 space of you. Make an athletics check contested by the target's martial check. So it's kind of the same as grapple. And if it works, you push the creature 1 space, which would be enough. Or, if you do really well, each 5 is another space. So it'd go from pushing him off to launching him off, basically, depending on how this goes. And either way, the building is decently tall. So there's going to be a minimum... It's going to do some damage for sure.
Okay. So if I use knockback, it's a part of an attack, right?
Yes, it is an attack maneuver. So it's attached to an attack.
Okay. How about this then? What if I'm going to go up and just try to punch him really hard.
Okay.
With brass knuckles.
Ah, okay.
They're just they're always on under the gloves,
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna try to just deck him
Okay.
and use knockback on the same swipe. And that's hopefully it works because that's all my action points.
Right.
So if it doesn't, I'm just standing there, just waiting for him to stab me. Something.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Well, let's see how it goes. Go ahead and roll for your...
So do I make 2 checks for that? 1 for each?
For knockback specifically, it should be that he tries to save against your save DC, I think. I will check real quick.
Yep.
This guy's going to have to save.
Okay. All right. So hopefully I just roll well. I did not roll well.
That's okay. Even if you miss... So, like, the way this is working, he still has to save against being knocked back. So, like, you didn't land damage, but you still might be able to do, like, you swing and still kind of, like, shoulder charge him. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this could still work out for you.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, he has to beat
Okay,
14,
well,
it
was an 8 to hit, just to let you know.
Okay, gotcha. So, yes, the 8 doesn't quite cut it, but to be honest, you weren't far off. But... he rolled a 5 against the knockback maneuver save. So basically, the way that works, because your save DC is 14, should be, I believe. So he failed the knockback save. So, in fact, he failed by 14. So he failed by, 2 failures.
I failed by 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets an extra space.
Yeah.
He's doing it.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for correcting my numbers there. Okay, yes. so basically, you miss it's like slow motion where you kind of like, you're running up the, up the rooftop to him, and he kind of like finally like hears footsteps, turns around and sees you, and you swing, and he hardly moves out of the way to swing to avoid the punch, but your body's already moving at him. So like you collide with him with like kind of a shoulder charge, and he loses balance right off the ledge of this roof, falls around 10 feet, what would be 2 spaces, so takes 2 damage there as well. So you already hit him. So you see this crossbow bolt's already in his shoulder, when you're going for this attack. So he falls off of this roof, and literally just like, you see him just like, just fall, and it's just like thud and just like silent. And like you look over the edge and he's completely motionless.
Yes.
Very nice.
That's perfect.
Yep, doesn't look like he's getting up. So, turns out the maneuver actually worked out just fine. That was smart. Okay.
Thank you.
And that was all your stuff. Okay, cool. Back at the top now. Sam is out of the turn order.
I guess just for funsies, yeah. I'll stand kind of like on the edge of the roof, just like, so it's the dramatic silhouette that we saw when he first shot at us.
Yeah.
But also, in case a new player shows up and I have no cover, basically.
Okay, all right.
So that's just an important thing to say. Hopefully they don't show up. But
I like it. So you've got a full view of anything else that could happen, It's going to take you off guard, but at the same time, you're like out in the open kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you. All right, cool. Anyway, Brian, what you do?
Well, I might just spend another 2 AP to restrain this guy right back down.
Let's make it happen. The contest again.
All right.
This is a straight roll.
Mine, I believe, is still triple advantage.
Yeah, should be, or double advantage, whatever.
1 for raging, 1 for my size, and then normal roll, 1 for raging, 1 for size. So double advantage makes 3 dice. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. All right, we got a 12 plus 5 for 17. Nice.
He only got a 6 to defend, so he is restrained yet again.
Excellent. And that was just 2 AP to restrain him. And I'm just going to start walking over to Shane. Typically, I would be slowed, but I'm not affected by the slow condition because of my ancestry.
Gotcha.
So I'm just going to start walking over to Shane and kind of, in a way, ignoring this guy right here and trying to talk to him like, yeah, that's how you do it, Shane. Yeah, that's how you do it. And just going to start walking over there to what I think is a body, but may just be an unconscious person. And see how it goes.
Okay, fun. That sounds good. And yeah, to be honest with you, I feel like this guy is going to pretty much surrender at this point. Like, he's the last of the 3 that are there. He's beat up pretty bad. You've got him completely restrained. Both of you guys are fine. So I feel like he's kind of weighing his options, and he's just like, he's like, all right, you've bested me, as you're literally just like dragging him in this like terrible headlock. And so as far as combat goes, we'll kind of call it over right there.
Okay.
And of course, this one shot's probably going to turn into a 2-shot for us, but in editing, I might make it one seamless thing and, make a funny comment about it. So we'll make a jump cut now, but we'll see you guys instantly. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Before we're done, just to wrap up that portion of it then. I'm gonna climb down the ladder and walk over to Sam and check for a pulse. Is there one?
Roll. Just give me a D20 roll.
19.
He does have a pulse. He's not completely dead, just completely knocked out.
Okay.
I think I know what we need to do. Tie him back like the old school.
Okay, perfect. I like it.
Hog tie.
Yeah.
Get your last
I want to go up to Rusty before we do that, while you're dragging him over, and just ask him, like, what was that thing that was on your hip, and where did it go?
He'd be like, well, at first he's gonna act kind of tough, and he's gonna be like, well, that's none of your business. And then I imagine the grip that Brian has on him might tighten up a little bit or something, and he'd probably be like, all right, that was a gun. That's what we call a gun. I don't know if the word gun would have been. I don't know. It's like, that's what we call
boomsticks or something.
Yeah. We call that.
Here's my crystal cannon.
Crystal cannon. That's awesome. Maybe that's just what it is. That's great. So yeah, I love that. So yeah, he'd be like, yeah, this is my crystal cannon. That just makes sense. It's like, yeah, but basically it's like a kind of like a crossbow, but better. And I have no idea where it went. I wish I could have seen. You have no idea what that thing's worth.
What? How? I've never seen one. How do they work?
Oh, it's real easy. You just pull it out and aim it at somebody, then you pull the trigger.
Oh,
it works a lot like
how many
crossbow.
bolts does
it's just
it have?
Easier. Oh, well, it kind of just like keeps making them magically. And I don't know why, but they're nails. They're just big nails.
Okay, I'm gonna go find some rope. I don't know, from wherever. Just untie some horses and set them free. Then take the rope.
I like the idea. I was going to say, yeah, you have rope, but no, I like that more. Like, you don't have rope, so you just let some more.
Maybe I do. Who cares?
Yeah,
I'm gonna use my rope on them.
You just loose some more saloon patrons' horses, basically, and you're like, hey, look at all this rope I got.
Yeah, yeah. We should definitely hog tie them back to back, but then find a way to hang them by their ankles.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah,
that'd be fun.
If we can figure it out, I want to do that, and then that's all I got.
I imagine you could probably do that. There might be some townsfolk walking by here and there, but most of them are like, back into buildings or whatever. They're not. Unfortunately, they're kind of like familiar with street violence. So, most people are kind of just minding their own business and letting you do with it what you want to do. And I might even say, like, the sheriff might come out at some point and be like, What are you guys doing out here? You're tying up these men. What even happened? I heard the sounds of a violent, glory-filled battle.
I'm gonna pipe up and just be like, well, it was these guys were friends of
Old Iron Ghost.
Old Iron Ghost, and we took care of them. So that'll be 300 gold for them, and then when we get Iron Ghost, we'll get the 1,000.
That's right. Onward to the Steel Spectre.
And he kind of looks at these guys you've got tied up now at this point, and he's just like, well, I thought we had no hope at all, but this is kind of impressive. You know what? I will pay it forward to you. Give me just a moment. And he's quickly back with a couple satchels of a decent amount of coin. Kind of hands it over.
Sweet. I'm gonna hand him his fork and take the gold and walk away.
That's awesome.
Take the fork. He's like, what is this? What is this fork?
We were just holding on to it, but looks like we don't need it now. Okay. Oh, thanks. Well, good luck. You too.
Okay.
And then we ride off majestically into the sunset.
Yes, that is chapter 1 of our one shot. That will make one episode for everyone else's convenience.
What do you mean? We're going to continue in just a minute. We're all just going to change clothes for some reason.
Yeah, you're right. We'll continue.
I'm gonna take a 30-second nap.
Perfect. And so yeah, we'll keep this going right now. Nothing happened. We are the exact same people and wearing the same things and look exactly the same. So here we go. Does that conclude your time in town? Is there anything else you wanted to do before you take off?
Nope.
All right.
I think that should be good. We gave that guy his spoon or fork.
Yep.
It's
I'm
true.
still full from the meal.
Yeah.
So, from both meals. We ate the sheriff's too or something.
That's right. All right. Brian and Warren, you guys begin making your way through the dusty trail. It's like mostly desert. You know exactly where you're going. So you travel through for a little while. To be honest, most of the trip there is almost ominously uneventful. There's really not a whole lot that happens at all. You see a couple like desert creatures. You see like a sandworm way off in the distance that's just kind of like a big old worm, just like dives up out of the sand and back in. And that's the coolest thing that happens, but that's like a mile off, you know? You just kind of see it in the distance.
Didn't happen to be purple, did it?
And it's hard to tell. Maybe. But before long, you enter this small area where the path kind of gets closed in a bit by like a bit of a valley and surrounding rocks and even cliffs, really. And you see the small, relatively hidden, but you, like I said, you had the information ahead of time, so you knew what to look for. You find the small entrance to what looks to be a cave that you venture to guess is likely the Iron Ghost's hideout. So what do you do with that?
Well, I'm gonna kind of just speak up and just be like, "Hey, Brian, are we supposed to kill him, or does he bring him alive? Do we bring him back alive?"
Oh, the poster always says dead or alive, but the funny thing about that is it's not up to us, it's up to him.
Good point. I aim for the head.
So do you think this is where the golden ghost is?
Yeah, he's golden.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was a different metal,
Oh,
but he's
no.
got to be here.
I mean, we've been looking all this time for the bronze banshee. We might as well get in there.
Okay.
This is what happens. You had time to think. This is not good. I know that's not it. Okay.
Yeah, I think he was the Iron Giant. Okay. I'm gonna see
You're right.
if maybe how long ago he was here. How's that?
Yeah, absolutely. How's that work?
Basically, I just want to check to see if he's been in this area recently, or if it looks, I guess, relatively safe.
Okay.
With Hunter's Mark, I have advantage trying to find him on survival or awareness checks.
Okay, perfect. I'll allow you to make either right now with advantage.
Okay.
Let's see if you can
I'm gonna do
see
an
anything
awareness
relevant.
check. Be 24.
Nice. Okay. So, you do notice, you're good at tracking people and you know exactly, you've kind of pinned this guy down at this point. So you notice there's a few...
Horses poop.
Yes, exactly. You notice a bit of scat for sure, but hardly. It's all blown over by sand, and you see one spot. You're like, oh wait, I know how this goes. You see one spot that's just kind of like smeared and an old footprint, and you venture to guess that he definitely stepped in his own horse's scat a little bit there, and you're like, this is him. This is his foot, and his horse's scat.
How old are the trails? Is this yesterday or last week or?
It seems like maybe even earlier today, like maybe in the morning today. So it has not been long.
All right, I'll lean over to Brian and just be like, Brian, I think he'd been here recently, so be on the lookout.
Absolutely. I'm always aware.
Okay. I just I guess I just expected something else to happen with that. Cool. Good. Perfect.
Oh no, stone face. That was it.
Yeah. Good.
I'm always aware.
Underwear.
So there it is. So are you just heading in then? Are you doing anything else?
Probably
should probably-
cautiously.
Yeah, we should probably check out around this area, see if there's any indications of if they've been in or out. Are they currently home? What do you guys think?
I will
Yeah, if
say
the tracks If the tracks are heading in and not out recently, that'd be
Mhm.
pretty good. Also, if you like set up any kind of trap, or if there's anyone else that's like on the lookout other than him.
Right. And Warren, do you think that's the only way in?
Yes, but maybe not. But I do.
You son of a gun, I'm in. Let's go.
I will say the whole idea of like how recent have they been here and like pondering that could be revealed well enough with the check. You don't necessarily see tracks leaving, but you do notice the ones that headed in, just like you said.
Okay. Looking around after Brian mentions that, are there any other entrances, or does it seem like there's traps anywhere that are evident?
So the way that the entrance is kind of butted up in what becomes a bit of a valley here, it seems like this is probably the only way, definitely the only way that's simple. There might be something like on top of one of the cliffs or something, but it'd be quite the secret entrance. I'm not saying it's impossible.
All right. I'm gonna cautiously approach the entrance of the cave and see if I can see anything.
Okay. So as you kind of get a little closer and kind of poke your head in, you hear very faintly in the distance what sounds like the same kinds of like booms and pops and bangs that strange crystal-powered weapon was making, but it sounds real faint and pretty deep in the cave.
All right. I'm gonna take it out of my bag or wherever it is, and just kind of like look at it and just guess kind of how it works and just hold it and hope that I know how to use it when the time comes.
All right.
You've at least seen it used once, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You know which end he was pointing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty clear what the handle is.
Okay. But otherwise, if you were to poke in just a little bit further, you don't see a whole lot going on. You notice that there's really just kind of like a path that's like some sand-covered stairs that seems to lead just kind of generally down. There's like some spots where you see it curve a little bit out of the way, you know, to obscure your vision, but it's kind of just like looks down from here, you know?
Do the snap, crackle, pops get louder farther down we go?
Yeah.
Closer to the stairs.
Yeah, so I'd say you head down a little bit to see anything really, and it does seem like the noises are getting a bit louder, especially now that you're in the cave. You can kind of hear them even better, and it sounds like you'll hear like one pop and then a ting right after. You know, it's like potting, potting, and it sounds like maybe some sort of
cans.
Yeah, exactly. Some sort of target practice, maybe something like that.
Do you think we should sneak up on him, or do you think we should just, surprise him?
I think, well, I don't know, you're good at punching, right?
Oh, I'm the best puncher.
Great. Do you want to get close and I'll try to shoot him with the crystal gun?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
How far away are these sounds? Do you think they might be in the next room, or do we have to go a little ways down the hall?
I would say it sounds decently far off.
Okay.
Doesn't sound too close.
All right. Well, let's just keep walking then, and when we can see him, we'll figure out if stealth's even an option.
Okay.
Excellent. So you guys wander in a bit further, and you're cautiously walking down. The noises are getting a little bit louder. You can tell you're getting closer. Still a little ways off, but you do hear one rather quick like shifting of stone sound, and you kind of like stop, and there's like a little bit of sand that comes from the ceiling. It's just quiet for a second, and then one large stone that seems to be what would be just like the natural ceiling kind of just like falls in front of you, and then another behind you, and you look up and you see just these strange looking machine creatures just kind of like grappled up on the ceiling above you. What do you do?
Nice.
Okay. So when you say these machine creatures grappled up on the ceiling, are they grappled with each other, or?
They seem to be kind of spread out, and to be honest, there's like maybe 2 or 3 that are like right above you, but the rest of them are kind of behind you already. So you're like a little bit ahead of them, and the stones that fell did not necessarily block your path in any way, just so you know.
And how high is the ceiling? Is it something we could reach?
I'd say so. Like, it's not far. With a jump, you could definitely reach it, especially with some sort of, extension of your limbs, like a weapon.
Well, you're a big guy though, right, Brian? Just a little dude.
That's true.
That's right. I'm actually a giant born, and if we were gonna go with the scare tactic, I was gonna yell in giant through this tunnel.
All right.
But how big is the stone that fell?
The stone
like
that
right
fell.
in front of us.
It's like it's like the size of like a basketball. It's a decent sized stone.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So, how's the what are the odds our stealth approach will work at this point?
Probably not much.
All right. What if we just run at them and start shooting?
I was honestly thinking that too. I almost
just do it.
like as soon as the rocks fell, I almost went like, "Run, let's go."
All right, let's do it. I'm just gonna
honestly.
start sprinting.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll probably like meet eyes, look at each other, and be like,
Yeah,
"Go."
Love it.
let's do it.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, basically, there's just stones fall. You see the creatures above you, and they're kind of just like up, latched up on the ceiling. You just kind of start sprinting, and you notice that they drop down right behind you as you're running, and then they immediately begin chase. And not only that, but you hear a loud clang from one of them as they're chasing behind you, and you see one that like completely like trips and just like falls hard, and when he does, his body just kind of like explodes into pieces of rusted old metals and stuff.
Okay.
And you manage to completely jump right over and not even notice a tripwire that's there, but his body parts slam directly into it and trigger it. So you've got constructs just like chasing you down the hall, and now you notice behind the constructs, they all just kind of like stop for a second and turn around, and there's just like a flood of sand that is just like smashing and barreling down the stairs behind you. It quickly wraps up the constructs and is like, they're trying their best to stay on top of it, but now they're like directly behind you, falling towards you even faster until the sand catches up with you as well, and now you're in the same boat. So you're all just on this sand that's just like plummeting down this hallway. These things are chasing you, and you can't necessarily get away from them at this point, it seems. So what the heck do you try to do as they're like attempting to like swing at you? Some of them have things like built-in crossbows, so they're trying to attack you too. So this is kind of just a mess, and we're gonna probably turn it into some sort of skill challenge. So like, what do you do first?
I'd like to just, as I'm running, just like shoot behind me.
Okay, all right.
Just hope to hit him.
Perfect, excellent.
Are we caught up in the sand, kind of like being pushed on it like a wave?
Pretty much, yeah. It might as well be water, just like, so you're gonna basically just be doing your best to stay on top of the sand, not be swallowed by it, and also not be attacked or, too bad by these group of constructs in the same boat.
Okay. So the Barbarian has this thing called Shattering Force, and when you hit a structure or mundane object with a melee attack, it's considered a critical hit.
Ooh,
so if there's like, a wall of sand coming at me, would you consider that a structure or mundane object to hinder it?
I would say so. I mean, you could definitely take basically just like a violent swing at the sand to try to like stop it up in some way or another.
Okay.
You never know.
Because I would totally rage and then use my Morning Star, just kind of like going back and forth, trying to keep the sand off of me.
Okay, I got it. That sounds good. Okay, so what I'm going to do, how about this? So we will allow that to actually work because of the Barbarian function specifically, and it's going to work so that Warren has advantage on the check that he's making, because you guys are able to be stable on the sand because you're just like smashing it down, you know what I mean? So you're not panicking as much as the constructs at this point. So with that being the case, Warren, make an attack check against these creatures with advantage.
Oh, baby. All right.
And I know you don't necessarily have the stats for the gun, so we'll just see what happens.
I guess we will. Okay, natural 20.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Nice.
All right. What would the total be also?
24.
Okay, that matters in this case just because I've got a DC set and that's a lot of successes. Okay, so basically the way that's going to work, so with your stabled aim, thanks to your friend Brian here, as he's punching the sand out of your way, you're able to get stable footing and actually like turn around and shoot directly at these constructs. And when you do, this the same crazy, just like piercing bullet that you've been on the receiving end of or close anyway, just like slams into the first construct that's right there and just like blows its body apart, and it kind of like sends shrapnel towards the others as well, offsetting their balance significantly, and all of the constructs fall except for a single one that hardly manages to just like hurtle over its machine friends' bodies. And you are being chased by a single construct and now manageably sliding down on the sand as well. So everything's good, right? Oh, go ahead.
I'd probably look over at Warren and be like, I never seen it do that before.
And I'll just look back and just be like, I've never seen it at all.
And at that, you guys are like, well, this is going to be, this is easy. This is great. And then suddenly you do hear one more click. And it sounds exactly like the last tripwire as it snapped. And then you kind of turn around and see in front of you as you're being, shoveled down this ramp now. There is just this massive board that's just like riddled with spikes. That basically like the wire snaps and this thing immediately just like flies off of its hinges and is about to just like smash into the bulk of the hallway. So what do you guys do?
Can you shoot the door down, or should I just head first? Like, I'll smash it.
Is there one of the parts kind of like maybe a shell or something I could use as like a shield? I
would say so. There'd definitely be a lot of parts around like the torso and head and things like that are just kind of like curved, scrap metal. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna try to just like grab what I can, what makes sense, and like push it up against the door.
Okay.
Or if there's something that looks like it's longer than the spikes, then just like hold it out. So,
okay.
Like when the thing hits me, if I'm holding the pole that's a foot long and the spikes are only 6 inches, it's just going to push me backwards instead.
Okay, I gotcha. What's Brian looking at then?
So how big are the spikes that are coming at us?
I mean, they're big enough to be ominous, but they're
big
like
enough to be ominous.
They're several inches each for sure.
Mm-hmm. So big enough to hurt, but not enough to kill?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. Is it possible that I could break them with my morning star?
Oh yeah,
It's
sure
actually called
possible.
A great star. I keep calling it a morning star. It's a great star. Yeah, the bigger version.
Very good. Absolutely. Okay, so
because I would totally try to clear out a place for both me and Warren. Hopefully we can land on that. But I would, if we can just like thread the needle through the door, I'll break the door first.
Okay, perfect. That sounds awesome. Okay, so both of you go ahead and make, I guess Brian's is definitely an attack check. I would probably just say another attack check for Warren as well, unless there's a skill check that you think would be more relevant.
Definitely.
Could I make the argument for survival?
I will say yes, because of your quick thinking. It was a survival tactic to quite literally survive. It was the quick thinking related to that skill. So yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Are we in a mountainous or subterranean environment?
I mean, I would say subterranean technically. Yeah.
I have advantage on survival checks.
Nice.
Perfect.
For my class.
Nice.
Okay. I'm going to do that then.
Way to weave in the skills. Way to weave in the character build there. That was good. All right. How was? Go ahead, Brian. Brian's character.
Would Shattering Force apply for this at all? When you hit a structure or mundane object with a melee attack, it's considered a critical hit?
It will. It will apply narratively, not necessarily with the check.
Okay, so just make a attack check?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I got a 19.
Nice.
Very good.
And I got a 5.
Okay, but plus some, right?
Oh, yeah, 9.
9, okay. So, the good news is, because it does auto crit, that means you're hitting the thing regardless, all right? So it's just to see how well this goes for you kind of thing. So,
okay. So like, in the stomach.
Yeah, basically. So there's like, it just kind of happens that Warren ends up a little bit ahead of you. And so he kind of like grabs the piece of scrap metal that's rolling right next to him. And he's like, oh, that'll work. Swipes it up and just kind of like jumps. There's like the one scene from one of the Avengers movie or Captain America, where Cap just like jumps and like puts his body, just cannonball behind his shield. That's kind of what I'm picturing here.
Right out the window.
Yeah.
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 That's right. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that scene, that's basically happening here. So Warren just like jumps into the trap, and it just like hits him like a baseball bat and kind of like shoves him back. But you are good, so no worries there. And you notice it did dent some of the nails, and that's exactly the spot that Brian swings for. Brian, you do hit the thing, and I'll even say that you break the trap so that you can continue moving through it. But you are going to take 2 damage in the process.
Okay.
Actually,
I did also want to...
1 damage, sorry. Carry on.
Just 1? Okay. And during the travel time, would there have been enough time for rest or anything? Did we travel for several days or just like maybe an hour or 2 outside of town?
It would have been enough for, what the heck is it called in DC20? It'd be like enough for the short rest kind of thing. So you could spend dice on it.
Okay.
To heal up if you wanted.
I just was making sure because I still had my health from the last battle.
I gotcha.
Okay. So I'm just going to regain 2 health points just to help it out a little bit more.
So just the 1 damage from the boards as you bust through the trap and make it safe for the rest of the way.
Okay. Is the stand still piling in?
It absolutely is. In fact, it's unbelievable to you that it's like it's still going. Like that thing it must just be still letting sand in, and it is just flowing down this ramp and not stopping.
So can we make it through the door?
So the trap thing, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes. So Brian like just straight up blew a hole right through that thing. So after you got launched back once, you were pushed right back through it, and safely this time.
Okay. Does some of the sand or most of the sand get stopped by that trap?
Some of it does, but really the sand is just coming so fast that you'll actually watch it. So it's like you guys go through the trap, the construct actually like follows you through the hole you made, and then the sand just like blows the trap off the hinges that it was set on. Oh. And it's just like surfing on top of the sand behind you guys now.
All right.
At least that probably like slowed it down.
That little shield I have, can I like stand on that like I'm actually surfing?
Oh, heck yeah, for sure.
Sick.
And for fun.
SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Yes, sir. Good shout out. Yeah, so for sure. So you straight up like are doing like a shield surf situation going on right now, and it's pretty awesome. For fun, let's do an acrobatics check for me.
Ooh, oh, is a +1 for me for a total of 5.
Okay, no problem. So you don't necessarily get any extra benefit from the idea, but you are like safely surfing on top of the sand, and you might have a bit of a leg up now because that's pretty creative thinking. So,
yeah, you might not be like super surfing, but you're really good at boogie boarding.
Yeah, exactly.
Not doing any flips or anything.
Right, but it's not going worse, and that's good. So,
when we burst through the trapdoor room, would you say there was maybe enough time for me to get on my feet and maybe run ahead of the sand? Or are we still like surfing on it or stuck with it?
I would say it is still very much pushing you through the hallway. This thing is like a violent flood that you are only hardly comfortably staying on top of right now.
Okay.
So it is still cruising. And just as soon as you regain yourself there with the trap, there is one more situation you see ahead of you that looks fishy. It's a very poorly hidden, likely trap. And there's literally just kind of like a very noticeable pressure plate that's kind of just like sitting on top of the stones that you and the sand and everything else is about to go over top of. Seeing that, is there anything that you do?
I don't know.
What can you do?
Right.
I guess I could use my bolus. I have a couple of those. Can I just use the bolus to grapple the plate off so it doesn't activate? If that doesn't completely activate the trap too.
I mean, it's worth a try. That thing's definitely going to get activated either way, so it might be a good idea. Do you want to try to do that?
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Just see what happens.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll like do that thing where you skip it off the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever played that game with the like 2 golf balls on one side and you had to throw it around a pipe.
Yep.
Yeah. Just doing the trick shots with the bolus.
Ball game. Yeah, heck yeah. Okay.
Hillbilly golf.
Exactly.
That's what we call it.
Yeah. Tell us what that's called in the comments, everyone. So the official name. So basically, okay, so you're just going to make another attack check, and we'll see how this goes as you kind of like reach through and you find the bolas and you start swinging them around, about to pull off this sick trick shot. 360 no scope this plate off the ground.
Let's hope so. That was a 5.
That looks an awful lot like your last roll.
Exact same.
Okay, so it's
technically a 9, but
9. Okay, all right. So the way this works is you chuck your bolas at it, and you're trying to like bounce them just right so they either pull the plate off or like maybe even get stuck and wrapped under the plate, something like that. And so you watch, and it's almost like slow motion. The ball of the bola hits the ground and it just like sends the other one plummeting over top of it, and it smashes directly onto the tile.
There we go.
And you see when that happens, there's another loud click, and you see like several looks to be just like spouts of sorts just kind of like jam out from the walls, and you see like this, you see the air kind of like being like turned by some sort of thicker gas than the air that's in there. And then a very quick like spark. So,
okay,
you're about to ride through basically this little miniature maze of just like fire spouts. What are you going to try to do? What do you do with that? What do you do? How do you save from that?
Well, you see,
and you know, technically,
does it look like the gas is still coming? It's like fire already. It's not just
it's like
gas?
It's about to be. It's kind of like a slow motion thing where you're seeing it all happen, and you're like, uh-oh, this is not going to be good. This is going to ignite right before we run through this thing. It's not going to be pretty. So it's not technically lit yet, but it's going to be.
I think I would just try to dive into the sand and hope that I don't suffocate.
Okay.
I'll tell you what,
Like
I'm gonna
roll off my little sled thing. Like I still want to keep it, but like hopefully I'm under the sand and I can like use it to push up when I'm on the other side. That's the goal.
The flood of sand is thick enough that you're not just going to like cheese grate yourself on the ground under it. So like that's an option.
I might try to do somewhat the same. Maybe even try to use a few of my maneuvers if I can to help with this.
Okay, what you think?
I have a charge that might help me break through the sand. Maybe if we stick together, or perhaps there's a. Actually, I think that was it. I might be able to like cut through the sand, but I could try to rage and charge through it. That's what I was thinking. If I did stick in the sand, then I would try to charge through it with a charge maneuver. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Let's do this. So I will either say, depending on how your characters would really do it, I imagine that Brian's is going to be an athletics check, and I might even have you add like, do you already have mastery in athletics?
Yes, as well as acrobatics.
Oh, nice. Sweet. Okay, cool. So yeah, so go ahead and make an athletics check then. And let's see, would Warren's just be like, I'd say either athletics to just try to be athletic and, you know, let it happen, or maybe even technically like the power of will to just kind of endure it and see what happens, which would be a charisma check. So either one.
Yeah, I think I'd try to take the athletic approach.
Okay.
Hope that it works.
All right. Let's get athletics checks all around.
Slightly better. We got ourselves an 18.
Okay.
There's a 5.
Okay,
Yeah,
so no problem. So the way this is going to work, with just like flying colors, Brian kind of does the same thing where you're like, you know, Warren, you're just like, all right, I'm gonna just go into the sand. Let's see what, you know, you kind of just like dive under. And it really like the same time, Brian kind of like lunges forward also in the sand as kind of just like a shoulder charge dive into the sand, but also trying to get through the trap. And you actually manage. So you like, you throw up a bunch of sand, and the first part of the trap just like slams into the sand, and you actually dive through it before the fire hits you, Brian. Warren, you get kind of like almost kicked by Brian a little bit, and you're kind of left behind just enough that you just kind of like slowly trickle through the fire and like half covered in sand, and you get through it, but you do take 1 damage along the way.
All right.
But it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
And then, so at that, you see the construct behind you, and the door trap that's now just like on top of the sand behind the construct. The construct kind of like turns around and tries to like run against the sand before it gets into the fire trap. And then the fire trap just lights it up and kind of just like sprays molten metal of like sheet metal and stuff along the wall. And then but at this point, basically the gunshots that you were hearing are getting very loud, and you're like, oh shoot, we're coming up on this thing real quick.
They not stopped.
And then the floor beneath you, you're still like on top of the sand. The floor beneath you just drops completely off, and you just like fall and land on a pile of sand that cushions your fall.
Can I try to be holding the gun by the time that happens?
Absolutely. I'd say so.
All right, good.
So you've got the gun ready, technically, and drawn. You've recovered. You just pat out your beard and, get some of the burnt flakes out. And so you land on the sand. You've got the gun with you. And it's kind of just like quiet for a second. And it's dark as your eyes kind of adjust. And then the door trap with the nails, the door trap with the spikes, the spike trap, just lands kind of behind you there in the hole, just like on fire. Lights up the chamber a bit more. And then
you see the guy?
You do see the guy.
Does he see us? Does he notice us?
Yes, he does. But it's interesting. So you're in the middle of a chamber, and you see him quickly kind of like duck behind a wall that's like an open, smaller room, just like attached to this one. And it looks like just a little dead end. And he was just kind of, you see the targets that he was shooting at right next to you. So here, let me give you a better idea of what this looks like. So yeah, this is what the room's looking like. So you fall in through a big hole, and you're kind of just like at the other end of the chamber there. Both of you there, and the sand kind of piled up there. And it seems like this is just like one big open chamber. And you do notice, so like you notice the guy kind of like over here at the other edge, right, of this room. And he quickly sees you and ducks behind cover. But like he knows you're there, It's just kind of like, now what do we do? So what do you do?
Well, Brian would probably be getting up a little bit angry from that. The worst elevator I have ever taken, I swear. And honestly, he would probably get up with like a couple of giant expletives. I'm not sure what those would sound like, but I'd probably be like, oh, God,
Perfect.
That's probably pretty close.
I feel like that was one, yeah. I'll have to censor that.
And then, yeah, I just be like brushing myself off. I may or may not have noticed that guy immediately. I'm just gonna be like angry.
Okay.
So it looks like there's some pretty big rocks around here.
There is.
Do these stairs go up or down? Like, is this a platform or is...
Yeah, so they all go up. So it's kind of like in the middle of the chamber here where the light is. It's like the lowest point of the chamber for sure.
Okay. I'm going to try to run around.
Elevation up around the sides. And like all the stuff that you're behind right now, I would definitely say is giving you a bit of cover, but like only a little bit because the sand also elevated you some. So
I'm going to try to run around the back, like around here.
All right.
This is my goal. And try to like hide behind this rock here.
Okay.
And see if I can get a good line on him as soon as he steps out. And try to do it quietly and let Brian kind of be the distraction.
Okay.
Definitely.
So,
and honestly, I know my role. I would probably jump right about here, stand in the middle of the bright light and yell something like, "Steel Spectre, we're here for you."
Yeah. Okay. So, very good. I would call that probably an influence or intimidation check for your initiative. And then, Warren, I'd let yours be either athletics just to get there or stealth to get there.
I'm going to make it athletics.
All right.
Because I want to do a bunch of climbing.
All right.
You said intimidation, right?
Yes, or influence, whatever you prefer.
Definitely intimidation.
Got
13.
14.
Yeah, very
13
close.
and 14. All right. The encounter DC was 15, unfortunately. But I will let you guys get to where you wanted to be to start off here. So feel free. Encounter DC was 15. So unfortunately, the Iron Ghost is going to act first. And then it will be both of you and then him again, assuming this order stays as is. So, basically, he's going to let's see, he's kind of just hiding. He's gonna step out. He sees you all yelling and hollering and
Calling him out.
yeah, pretty much. And so he takes the bait. He's gonna step out once with okay, so technically he's got some movement anyway. So I'm gonna give him 2 spaces there. And he's gonna look right at you and he's gonna be like, y'all shouldn't have came here. This is a mistake on your part. You don't even know what's going on. And then he kind of quickly brandishes another arcane-looking weapon. It's a straight-up revolver, but you guys wouldn't know that necessarily. So, like, it's just kind of a revolver with, like, a glowing cylinder. And he's like, I'm sure it was the sheriff that sent you, wasn't it? And he's going to take a shot towards you, Brian.
Okay.
With a 15. How's that do you?
Against my physical defense?
Physical, yes.
Yes. It just hits for 15.
Oh, dang. Okay. So he hits you with that shot. It does 1 damage, but
Okay.
you do have to save real quick as like this thing hits you and like the arcane pulse hits you and almost like wraps around your body and then down to your feet. And see if it'd be a martial check really. So either athletics or acrobatics.
Sounds good to me.
To try to save from this energy anchoring your feet.
I've got 11. And does it happen to be the slowed condition? Because I happen to be immune.
Nice. It isn't.
Darn.
That would make sense, but narratively, this is just him putting the exposed condition on you now.
Okay.
So
I need a belt.
Yeah, so you aren't actually slowed. For the moment, it just kind of exposes you. And then he's going to spend his last action to attack you again, but this time with a straight roll, not disadvantage because of your exposed condition. So that's it. Just pulls out the revolver again, straight roll. This time it's only a 8.
Okay. Definitely didn't hit this time.
Okay, and then he's just going to use the last of his stuff, last of his movement to hunker back behind the wall where he was. And that's it for his turn. And either of you, whoever rolled higher, you're up.
That's
All right. How do I get a line of sight on it? Can I get a diagonal one? Like if I can see through here?
I'd say it'd be
or would I have to come all the way up here?
I'd say it'd be pretty tough. Right now, I'm going to give him... Right now, with like both of you behind rocks, I'm going to give him like a +5 to his PD, but you could technically do it. So,
okay.
He's got a lot of cover.
I move, I'm thinking, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I move, I lost count. If I move here, is he still in cover?
Yes,
cover?
but I'd say only half cover at that point. Like you technically see half of his body and you could get him.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna do that.
He's only got a
I'm gonna try to shoot
+2.
him. All right, for Hunter's Mark, I have advantage on the first attack roll each turn, as long as he's
Nice.
marked. You.
Excellent. And he is, as you've been tracking him.
Both of them were 9s.
Yes.
4. I don't know how the gun works. Is it +4?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So 13 then.
13 is exactly enough for a normal hit. And that gun does 3 damage.
Wow.
But it's got a bit of a kicker to it. So it has the like loading property like that of a crossbow,
Okay.
but that's its only
okay.
caveat. But it does 3 damage.
The way you said that, I thought it was going to explode.
That's fair.
Cool. Is there something for a gun that I should be taking advantage of?
It would work basically the same as a crossbow.
So when you reload, you gain 2 spaces of movement. Okay. So I just gained 2 spaces of movement. Would that still apply here?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. All right. Thinking time. Hold on. If I were to move here, would I have full cover
Ooh, yeah, because there's like some sort
or
of...
no?
I like that, yeah. I like the idea of that pillar being full cover for sure.
Okay.
And then like I like the idea of even the sides here would be like half cover because it's like a big elevated structure kind of thing, you know?
Okay. So since this space is kind of a diagonal from him, would the pillar give me full cover? And then if he tried to come like around here, would I still have half cover?
I would say so, yes. Yep.
I'm gonna aim for that then. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so I can make it if I reload. So I'm gonna reload, and then with if we're considering the gun like a crossbow for the maneuvers, with the crossbow weapon passive, I get 2 spaces of movement when I reload.
Yeah, perfect.
So that's all my action points, but I'm ready for the next one.
Nice.
Very nice.
Perfectly maximizes your movement and stuff with actions. That's pretty cool. Good stuff. All right, Brian, what are you doing?
Well, first off, I'm a little miffed that I just got exposed, and I need to do something about that. Yeah. So we're definitely going to be moving forward, and my movement speed is actually 6. So I'm going to be moving fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's a whole action point right there. Let's see, I might... How many spaces away is he technically from me? At least 3?
Yeah, it'd be like 3-ish. Yeah, 3.
Okay. So the charge ability says, when you make a melee martial attack on your turn, you can move up to 2 spaces immediately before making that attack. And I was just hoping I would be... Because if I move here to here, would you consider me able to hit him around the corner, or should I have to get right over here?
No, I would say so. I'd say you can hit him, and if you guys are like, fighting in melee combat or with the corner involved, that like both of you would have half cover technically.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to... So my first action point was going to be the movement. The next action point is going to be a rage. It takes 1 SP and 1 AP to enter into a rage for 1 minute, but I do deal 1 extra melee damage, and I have advantage on might checks and saves. My physical defense decreases by 5, unfortunately, but I do gain resistance half to elemental and physical damage.
Yes, not so bad.
All right, so I'm raging, and I'm also going to do my charge, and that's when I'm making a melee attack. So that is going to be a melee attack on him. Mm-hmm. The charge makes me do the 2 spaces, and when I'm making that melee attack, I would like it to be a maneuver.
Let's do it.
All right, so he exposes me, and I'd like to give him a daze. Okay. I'm going to use the hammer maneuver for 1 AP, and it deals 1 extra damage, and a target makes a physical save against being dazed.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so coming right around the corner, I'm going to use my Great Stars hammer maneuver, just trying to smash his head more or less against the wall. And no, that didn't work out for me. I've only got a 9.
Like you kind of just like swing around and smash into the wall next to him. He hardly ducks it. It'd just be athletics versus his martial check.
So a couple of cool things happen when I try to grapple somebody. My size is 1 size larger, so I'm large instead of medium. And once per combat, you can take the shove or grapple action as a minor action. So I think I would do the minor action and then empower it to make it not be at disadvantage.
Yes, nice. It wouldn't be at disadvantage because it's an athletics check anyway, but you could empower it to give it advantage if you want.
Okay, awesome. So if it's an athletics thing, not an attack?
Correct.
Okay, then that's +5 instead of 4.
Yeah, one more benefit of the
exactly
mixing up your actions.
But we got 18.
18, okay. So the 18 against his check is a 20, actually. It's an 18 plus 2. That's not even right.
That's okay.
That's not even right. So it's slippery.
Yeah, he is.
What was the being large thing? Because I think you might have advantage. If you are 1 or more sizes larger than your target, you have advantage on such checks and saves. There we go. Now we know.
Thank you.
So you actually do get 1 more chance to beat his dumbly high contested roll. So
20?
It matches it. Now what?
I'm pretty sure the defender wins in a victory, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That sucks. Okay. 2 very high rolls. Yeah.
Hey, at the very least, with an empowered grapple, I slapped him at least like 3 times.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He's got the red hands, Slapped him in the face once too. Okay. Anything else that you got for resources?
Actually, no. I don't really have anything other than that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
I just kind of wanted to insult him one more time. I haven't got it yet.
It's still cooking. Okay. So then it's back to him. He's going to try to step away from you. Would you like to spend an action point as a reaction to make a melee attack against him.
Why not? I'll
right.
come down on him with my Great Star. Oh, that one's actually a 17 plus some stuff.
Very worth it.
Yeah, 21.
Okay. 21 is a heavy hit for sure. Yep, heavy hit.
Nice.
Dang.
Okay. So he's able to pull away and still get hit.
Yes. So he's going to do exactly that. He's going to take a step. Gosh. Actually, let's see. Let's kind of retcon this a little bit. He's going to try to dance around you a little bit to try to get out of here, actually. And head back down away from you guys.
That's the best square dancer in town.
So he's going to spend all of his movement to get here.
Okay.
And then, let's see, Warren's got half cover, but you're still open. Okay. So he's going to, that's one action point there. He's going to spend one more action point to attack you again. Kind of quickly running down the stairs, turns around, loads the revolver towards you. That would be a 15, which was exactly it, right?
Yep, but since I'm raging, my physical defense is lessened by 5, so that's actually a 10. So he got a heavy on me.
I see. Okay. So it would be 1 damage, but since it's a heavy, it's 2.
Okay. I also have damage resistance, so back down to 1.
Yep, back down to 1. Perfect. And it's the same situation where when the arcane thing hits you, it kind of courses around you and limits your mobility for a moment. So go ahead and make another martial save.
Definitely.
Nice.
We got 17 plus 5, and I think I actually have advantage on martial saves while I'm raging.
Ooh, I think you're right.
You have advantage on might checks and saves.
Nice, yeah. So 100%. Okay,
Yeah.
So you definitely resist from the exposed condition this time around. And so let's see. Maybe he just wants to get even farther away. He's just gonna keep running. No, he knows this is it. It's all or nothing right now. So he's going to. Now he's taking a couple shots at you. You shrug off the exposed condition. He's going to try. Man, I don't know. Let's see. For Warren, could we justify a +5 to PD from this spot? Are you? I don't know. It's still pretty kitty corner. I feel like you're not touchable right now, and he's probably just gonna, unfortunately, keep sticking with Brian.
Hey, do it. Oh yeah, I got an insult or two waiting for him.
So basically, he's going to spend the rest of his actions, which is only a couple. So he's going to try to just shoot you again and empower it so it's a straight roll again.
Okay.
This time it's only a 8 again. That's like the same exact numbers as last time. That's so weird.
Yeah. I'm gonna taunt him a little bit. Be
Yeah.
like, that's why we're fighting you, Platinum Poltergeist.
He's like, hey, that's not even my name. Who are you after? And that'll be it for his turn.
All right. Let me think for a second.
This time it's
one
cats playing
space
a board
too
game.
far.
Oh no.
One space too far? For what?
I was gonna punch him in his face.
I mean, you do have the option to extend your attack, technically, with another action point, so it can, reach one extra
I need
space.
that action point.
That's fair. I understand.
You don't want to use that arcane annihilator over there?
I do. I have ideas though.
Oh, okay. I could see where you're going from, possibly.
All right, so I have no shot on him now, right?
I mean, you justified the +5 against yourself, so, you could do that. He'd have 3/4 cover where you are right now, kind of thing.
Great. Hold on.
So many options.
Okay, I'm ready. Again with advantage, because it's the first attack of the turn.
Nice. Yes.
17.
Nice.
17 is just normal hit. Sorry, I got all excited, but my math's bad.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay, so 17.
Okay, yeah. So that's a normal hit
Yeah.
Definitely.
with the gun, right? So it's another 3 damage.
All right. So I'm gonna reload and then holster the gun.
Okay.
That's 1, 2, 3. So I have 1 action point left. I'm gonna get all right up in him while I'm reloading, and then.
It should. Oh, to reload. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I got you. Yep.
What?
I thought you were shorting yourself action points, but you got it right. Should have known.
Yeah, I got 1 more. What I really want to do is use a maneuver. I can only use the style passive because I'm out of AP.
Yep. You're short on apps.
Yeah. Okay, so I can't attack because it'll be at disadvantage. I can attack, but it'll be at disadvantage.
Right.
So, I'm thinking I'm gonna try to grapple him, see what happens.
Okay.
It's kind of like I'm only, 5 foot tall or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna like jump on him and just like hug him.
Yeah.
Koala bear.
Nice.
That's my goal.
Papa Koala.
Yeah.
All right, sounds
I
good.
know how to do that logistically.
So you are. So it's just a athletics check, and he's going to contest it with a martial check.
18.
Oh. No. What's he got?
He rolled a
19.
19.
Dang it.
Dude, slippery silver
He
shade.
really is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know, man. You guys have got high rolls on those too, and he's just. I don't know.
Yeah.
It ain't pretty. So, dang, that's all you can do, right?
Yeah. I'm done.
All right.
I might I'm gonna say something like,
Yeah.
well, the sheriff gave us food and horses, so he's our friend, and you tried to kill us with sand and fire and metal spiders.
Yeah, and this is all kind of like, I'd like to think that it's like in the middle of your actions, like you run up to him and you almost start saying that then kind of thing, and
Yeah, and I'm just trying to hug him while I'm saying it. Just can't get a hold of him.
yeah, so he's just kind of like slapping you off. He's like, stop it. And then he's like, yeah, well, the sheriff used to be my friend too. He used to be my brother even, but don't worry about that.
Okay.
All right.
So
then-
I think it's my turn.
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna rush forward while raging with the charge to make a melee attack. And while I do that, I'm gonna say, "Yeah, food." Yeah, that's gonna be my call out.
Yeah. Excellent.
And with my great star, I'm going to empower that attack. I don't even actually have to use any resources to move because of the charge ability on the attack. So that's just 1 AP for my attack. I'm going to empower it as well to see how this lands.
Let's go.
and,
That's fun.
It's the Great Star Hammer Maneuver again.
Okay.
Very nice. All right, we got 19 plus 4, 23.
23 is a brutal hit against him.
Nice. And it's also an impact weapon, which does +1 damage when you score a heavy hit.
Yes. This is a big one.
It's 3 base damage, +1 for the impact, and you deal +1 damage, and the target makes a physical save against being dazed when I do the hammer maneuver.
Okay.
So that's make a physical
5
save against
damage.
being dazed. Yep. So 3, 5, and then we add on the fact that it's heavy, and then you said brutal.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so 7 damage so far.
What?
Golly, that's huge.
Nice.
Big hit. That's awesome. And he has to save against daze, right?
Yes. And I wish he was dazed from last time, because if he was, I would do another +1 damage.
Oh my gosh, that would have been ridiculous. All right, so it's just a physical save. So it's the same one he's been doing with grapples, and he rolls an 18. Jeez. So massive damage regardless. So you come up, you just sprint up, you yell food, and you just smash into this guy and clobber him real goodly. And he is, I didn't really describe him much, but this guy is half man, half machine, really, right? So so when you slam him, there's just sparks that fly off of his torso as your spikes of the Morning Star lash inside of. So that's a thing. What else are you doing? You got anything else?
Quick question.
Yeah.
An attack, is it 1 AP to do an attack and then 1 AP to do the maneuver?
Yes.
To make. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
So that was 3 AP total for me.
Okay.
I think we might as well do the tried and true. Just give him a good grapple.
Yeah, man.
There
It
you
makes
go.
sense.
All right. And I have advantage on this check, and if it's disadvantaged, I'll make it base. But I have advantage because of that.
It's not a
Okay,
disadvantage.
yeah.
It's a different check, so you're good.
Okay, that's actually the only bonus, just advantage.
That's pretty
So
good,
let's
though.
give it a go. 21.
You beat him. He only got a 15 to save that time.
There we go. If I didn't
It's
have
about
pluses.
time.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Goodness.
All right, so I got my hands on
Hit
him.
him hard enough to just pick him up.
Right? Literally. Okay, cool. So he is grappled. So that's good.
And honestly, the closer we get to each other, I'm just going to say, I've got you, Nickel Nightmare.
Do you have a list?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. That is really funny. Okay. Brings him back to the top now, right?
Yep. It's his turn.
Okay. He knows that's a bad idea to try to leave right now because you could both attack him. Man, is he going to spend actions to try to do anything about that? I don't think so. So that's a huge hit right there that you just did. So he's all grappled up. All right. He doesn't want to be grappled by you. That's for sure.
You don't say.
But even trying to escape, he'll have disadvantage because you're large. That's tough. That's tough. I think he's just gonna kind of just like a wild man. He's just gonna put the gun like right behind him and try to like shoot you or wherever you are in comparison to him. So yeah, he's just gonna try to shoot you, but because it's melee range, he's got disadvantage. And he might just try hard for it, you know? He's hardly touched Warren though, so...
The way you say it like that.
Here, hold on. Okay, you know what?
Lonely.
He's actually going to target Warren instead.
Okay.
So, being grappled by you, Warren's still right there in front of him as a threat, and he kind of just like pulls his gun on Warren. He's going to empower it to make it straight roll, and again to give him advantage, and one more to do +1 damage. He's just burning all of his actions right now to try to hit you. So, okay, it would be a 18
That is a heavy hit.
and +1 damage. So it's 1 damage to start with, +1 damage from the attack, and 1 more from it being a heavy. So it's 3 damage on you, Warren, and then his crazy arcane bullets hit you. I need you to make a either it's supposed to be a save, I guess. So a martial save. So either a might or agility save, whatever one you'd like.
7.
Okay. So you the bullet as it hits you kind of just like the energy courses through you and just like hinders your movement, and you are exposed to the next attack against you. But that's all of his actions burned in an instant. So moving on.
Cool. Kind of like as a reaction then, just because it's my turn. Not actually a reaction.
Right.
As soon as he does that, can we... Questions.
Yes.
Can we both grapple him?
Yeah. Heck yeah. Why not? You'd be able to in real life.
If I use the fist maneuver, he has to make a save against being grappled. And then the passive is that I get +1 damage to anyone that's grappled by me. So if I succeed on that check, do I get that style passive?
Yes.
Do I get the +1 if it happens the same turn?
For sure.
Okay.
And man, he's already halfway grappled, so I'm going to give him disadvantage on the save to your grapple too.
Okay. So here's kind of how I want it to play out.
Okay.
I think what I want to do is just punch him in the face and then also try to shoot him.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
But just for the sake of, I guess the narrative, as soon as he shoots me, I'm just gonna be like, and I'm just gonna like reach up for his throat, just like punch him in the face with brass knuckles.
Nice.
Yes.
And then kind of just like take half a step back and just like take the gun out and just find like his leg or something that has flesh instead of mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And just shoot.
All right.
Blank.
All right.
That's the goal. That's what I want to happen. I will
Sweet.
use both the passive and style maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll burn all 4 action points. Those 2 attacks.
Excellent. Well, let's start with the first half.
Yeah. Okay. So brass knuckles, the maneuver is deal +1 damage, and the target has to make a physical save against being grappled. Also, for Hunter's Mark, there's advantage on the first attack.
Yes.
This one gets
Nice.
advantage.
Okay.
Cool.
So let me roll that real quick. 15.
Hits with a normal hit.
Okay. So that would do... Oh, and then he has to see if he's grappled. So there's 2 damage for that. And then maybe +1 if he fails the grapple save.
All right. Let's see here. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to give him disadvantage on the grapple save. Ooh, 4. Yeah, 4. And
Sweet.
yeah, he failed that miserably.
Great. All right. So then he takes an extra damage. So he's taking 3 damage on the punch.
Alrighty.
Nice.
That's big. And I mean, that one, so when you do that, I'm going to say like, you know, like a piece of his like cheek and jaw area. Sorry, I kind of like muted myself sort of there. A piece of his cheek and jaw area just go like flying off of his face, and like, you know, his like teeth are exposed and he looks all icky.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna take the pistol thingy out. Just like still choking him, and then right into his thigh. That will. So it's a crossbow maneuver. There's advantage on the attack check.
Could he possibly make an argument for me holding him still to compensate for the disadvantage for that gun?
I mean, listen, to be fair, he's like double grappled by you guys, so it's not like he can move. That's actually a really good point that I didn't really consider.
That seems full Nelson
fair
right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that does seem pretty fair to me, actually. That's a good point. Yeah, I'm cool with that. We can negate the advantage that it should be, or whatever, so it's a straight roll again.
Okay, let's do that then. Narratively, with a gun versus a crossbow, I think it makes more sense.
It does, I agree. It's a bit more controllable, a bit less bulky.
It is a 19.
Oh, let's go.
Plus 1 damage.
Okay, and it's a heavy hit. So how much damage is that going to be?
5 total, right? So 3's the base, plus 1 for heavy, plus 1 for the maneuver.
That brings him to a collective 21 damage.
Nice.
Which is enough to do it.
Ooh.
So, technically...
Well, in that case, I don't want to aim for his thigh.
Yeah. Well, technically, hear me out, okay? Hear me out.
Okay.
How do you want to do this? But he really seems like he's got something to tell you, okay? That's all I got to say. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay,
You can still do what you want, but how do you want to do this?
So I'm going to like punch part of his jaw off and then just like shove the gun like in his face, I guess.
Yeah.
And just be like, give me one good reason why we shouldn't just end it here like we were hired to do.
Okay, cool. And yeah, he's freaking right out. Like, he's bleeding everywhere. He's oiling everywhere. He's oiled himself. Basically, he's just gonna be like, he's like, you don't even know you don't even know who I am. I'm the brother of the sheriff, all right? I'm the brother of Sheriff McAllister. He created me, and then he banished me here because of all my malfunctioning machinery accidents. Well, and because I killed that lady because she made fun of me. But this whole thing was hardly on me. I didn't want any of this in the first place. He made me to, fight off bandits and everything else, but, well, here I am.
Give him the Eldritch Blaster.
How did Frankenstein end? How'd that book go?
Not well.
I don't know.
I think it ended exactly like this.
All right. I would like to pull the trigger.
All right.
Yeah.
And a swift end to your bounty. You did learn some stuff. You learned, the sheriff didn't necessarily give you that information, which is a little fishy, but it's a swift end to this guy. The Iron Ghost is no more. And, probably rightfully so. Like, he's like, oh, wait, I'm not that guilty. But also he's like, well, I mean, I did kill someone. He's kind of guilty.
Frankenstein's monster killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Same situation.
Hey, Warren, check it out. The Copper Corpse.
The Copper Corpse. You were saving that for this moment.
I want to look around and see if there's anything that has like the sheriff's signature on it. You know how like an artist signs his work, or
of course, yeah. I'd say
I don't know. Bomb makers sign their work. I've seen TV shows.
Yeah, 100%. It wouldn't be long. You check around his little chamber here. He's got a few places where he kind of camps out. You find some drawers and things like that. And he's definitely keeping several evidences to kind of back up what he's saying. And it seems like he was truthing.
All right, cool. Nice. I want to collect a few of those things.
Yeah.
Something like maybe his heart, if it's like made out of metal or something. I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's like time to loot him.
Proof of death for the sheriff.
Yep.
Could technically probably just take his head.
I don't know. There's probably not much of it left.
Yeah, his head's a mess. He does have like this weird little arcane gem thing that was kind of like seemingly powering him.
Okay.
So Yeah.
Also, you made me die laughing a second ago when he was like, he's still got something to tell you. And then Shin, you were like, all right, disable his mouth.
Yeah, he's like, wait. Okay, yeah, so you definitely have some things to bring up with the sheriff. If you, yeah, I'm guessing that was your plan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I guess my next goal is to take whatever we can from him that looks cool, make our way back to town, and find the sheriff.
Yeah.
All right. Probably want to check this room too. It looks like there's a way up or down from this specific area. Does that mean there's more of like this workshop that he's got, or?
Not really. So from here, it's pretty much just, those are a couple quick exits that he would have likely taken if you didn't plummet through the room so fast, kind of thing. So they're just quick ways up and out, pretty much. And so you'd like look around a little bit and you find some other like scrap machinery that you guess he's kind of like fashioned almost like as modifications to himself and things like that. But there's really not a whole lot to glean here.
Okay. Yeah. Might as well start heading on out. Make sure our horses are still okay.
Yeah,
I doubt there's a good place to tie him up.
And that they're still brown.
Yeah, no. So you come out of the, you come out of the little hideout there, and your horses they found a nice little stump, and they are like, just sitting around it playing cards.
Nice.
And then they quickly straighten up, and they're like, horses again. So, yeah, no, you're good.
Perfect. Do we got the bounty poster for this guy?
I don't know if you do, or yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I think the Sheriff McAllister probably would have handed you that, at least.
If we can, I'd take the crystal or whatever that was in the middle of that dude and wrap it up in the bounty poster. Hopefully, like, it's nice and greasy too from like ripping it out of him. Just like crumple it up so that way we can just slam it down on his desk.
Oh yeah, perfect. So we'll skip some stuff here. So you guys quickly make your way back into the town. You're just like trotting in. There's a few people that see you as you're trotting in, and they're like, and they kind of like run inside. Classic. Like you're just the head honchos trotting into a little western town.
Walking in, the whistle, it goes off.
Yeah. There's a tumbleweed behind you. Yeah, it's all there.
I want to go to the sheriff's office.
Okay.
And just like take out something that doesn't necessarily have his signature on it.
Okay.
But like the proof of death thing and the wanted poster, like the bounty poster.
Yeah.
And slam them both down and just be like, here you go, where's our payment? Here you go, where's our payment?
When you slam the thing down, he kind of quickly, he was taking a little snooze, so you wake him up, and he's just like, oh, boys, and then you say that, he's like, oh well, I've got it right here. Is this really? And he kind of opens it, and the second he opens it, his eyes go wide, like he recognizes it, kind of thing, and he's just like, so you really did it then?
Sure did. I usually just invite my brothers for dinner, but whatever.
He kind of looks at you and he's like, well, how about maybe we double that payment and we don't really mention this to anybody. What do we think of that?
That sounds good to me.
Absolutely.
All right.
No questions asked, except for the few I have.
Perfect. Sounds good. Here's the money. And if you boys wouldn't mind, maybe just leaving town now.
Okay, well, thanks for the payment. We picked this up too, and I'm just gonna like open my bag so you can see all of the things with his signature on it, and just like put one down and just be like, I think this is you.
And you see him like, he takes his handkerchief off and he's like, pulls his hat up a little bit and he's like, all right, maybe so. What do you? Are we good though? Like we don't need to.
Yeah, I think we're good. We found this. I don't really have a use for it anymore, and I'm gonna like take the gun out and like cock it, and then like point it at him and set it on the table, and just be like, it sounds like you might have a use for it sometime soon. So, just think about what you did, and who you hired us to kill.
And I think I'll start.
Talk to the townsfolk about the fact that you did this, and we handed out a couple of these pieces. But I'll leave.
And I'll actually start gathering up all that stuff and just like bring it outside a little bit. And then hopefully in the distance you'll hear me like, $1, evidence of the mayor being ridiculous, $1.
So like the guns, so the whole time, your whole spiel, he's just kind of like wide-eyed and just sweating, like, what's gonna happen? Are they gonna shoot me? What's going on? You set the gun down after cocking it, and he's just like looking at it, looking at you, and you guys both step outside, and like as you're leaving, he's just like, curse you! Just like cuts off, and that's the end. That's the end of the scene.
Nice.
All right, well, fun, cool.
Yeah.
Very fun, cool. So if you guys enjoyed the one shot, please feel free to let us know one way or another. And if you have any other one shots or themes or anything fun you want us to do with more DC20 stuff, let us know in the comments as well. Let us know all the jokes for the Iron Ghost that Alex missed. I'm sure there's some good ones out there still.
Yeah, give me another iron, or maybe give me another metal. I'm pretty sure we can come up with it.
Yep. So drop those in the comments too, or whatever. And that's it. Thanks for joining us on this, Shane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do some more.
Cool.
Hey, who knows? You know, everybody warring for mayor for next one shot.
Oh, come on. Come on. Okay, cool. So thanks again, everybody, and we will see you later.
Bye, everybody.
Cool.